beneath the tree of life, dear lighted ones, the tree of life. And this is my old channel, kind of same channel. Spirit said it was okay to go on this channel because a lot of the energies and things that were, kind of holding up my channel and all of the stuff that were going on are going to be sorted out and sifted out. So I can carry on because they said this is where people know me from, and I will keep building my other channel as well. And so we wanted to bring some exciting news forward. Oh my gosh. Many of you can know and trust that many changes are coming with the spiritual body as we're moving forward in ascension and as we're harmonizing every new rung of spiral of creational dimension. Everybody is on a unique dimensional experience because they're at their own pacing with what they've allowed themselves to transmute as density. There is, remember, the infinity, man. It's all about the infinity. We're going to go into, on our class that's coming up, we're going to go way out there. I've been going through a huge transformation, and it's going to be a lot more scientific. We're going to dive a lot more into science because everything from here on out is your harmonization, your integration of light. That's what we're doing. It's the processing of light. And so the processing of light will allow you to see aspects of your light body, the experience with your light body, what that means as far as your everyday living. The more and more that you live within your light body, the sheath of your light body that comes down and places it, it's like a film, a membrane that places over your physical body, and then your physical body enmeshes with that aspect of light. It's an inner outer as above so below harmonization. It's an all as one process, and there's many things that occur. We've talked about the DNA activations and the sheaths. It's called the part of the light body sheaths that place over you as you're taking on a new level of dimension. The new level of dimension is part and parcel to, it's an all-encompassment, so it's multidimensional. So it's not just one thing. I'm in a new frequency of transformation, so it's quite incredibly weird. Today I was like so just spinning. I mean, it felt really, really good. And it's just the harmonization and the enmeshment with my sheath, one of my light body sheaths. And so they were showing me that from here on out, you get to play as spirit, you get to work as spirit. So many of us are going to be, as is why I'm coming on today, yay! We're going to be offered ourselves new ways that we can see, and it's going to be different because we're not moving in, we're not knowing and living and speaking and experiencing ourselves as 3D humans. We are going to be leveling up in all of the aspects of what we know to be as clairsentience. They told me specifically clairsentience. Clairsentience is just the knowing of spirit. Many of which we've been talking about, we're going to talk about more on my class. So those of you that want to come to my class, I usually suggest those that are teachers, healers, and leaders. Those that want vocational alignment sessions, I'm going to be expanding my gifts sessions and what I'm offering because my gifts are shifting and changing. And so I'm here to assist humanity in the transition of understanding light, understanding their experience with light, understanding their bodies as they're shifting and transmuting and transitioning in light. And that includes those that are transitioning into a death cycle. Because they're just going to be changing form. And so that means those that have lost family members, those that are transitioning into other stages and phases, I'm also here to help with that. Because it's just another aspect of life. You're going in to explore life and source in a different way. Again, everything that we talk about has nothing to do with religion. It is who we are as multidimensional beings of light. The religion is just a low vibrational experience that you place yourself within to learn certain pathologies, if you will, of the dissection of what source creator is. Source is all that is energy. So from here on out, we're going to be allowing ourselves to explore ourselves more as light. That light can be, because we are multidimensional beings of communication, those of inner, outer, as above, so below, are allowing yourselves to integrate that light, that sheath that comes over to kind of harmonize and mesh with you. What it feels like is if, I'm going to explain it in only the ways that we have human words for, although everybody will experience it different because your level of interfacing We talked about that before. Interfacing is your DNA genetic code with God, your blueprint with God. Nobody can touch it. Nobody can mess with it, if you will. And that's why practicing your daily field work that we talk about, grounding and calling in all of your soul fragments and aspects and working through your healing, doing the work. Because the more that you work on releasing and transmuting that density, the more that you're able to integrate that sheath of light. You can't integrate those sheaths of higher vibrational light if you're not releasing the density. So densities are anything that are held within those 7 aspects of the lower vibrational subconscious self: greed, gluttony, self-rejection, abandonment, all of those issues. Those are the things that allow you to stay in those lower dimensions. And there's no judgment on any of it. I'm just explaining what the subconscious is. There's the experiences of your psyche wounding. The psyche is all experience as you are a spirit. We then form ourselves into bodies to come and play certain roles so that we can clear as much as we can in the 3D experience to 5D experience, which is mostly held in a physical body. When we get to 5D and higher, we're going to be more experiencing a lot more, which they told me today, quasi-physical light. That quasi-physical light is you're seeing energies shift in and out of physical experiences because you're getting yourself used to seeing more and more beyond the veil. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about more and more as we're coming up, because I'm here to help and accelerate humanity to shift into those that are going to be awakening at the last second, those that have to kind of catch up on their healing. I say catch up is because you've chosen to wake up at the last minute because you can transmute those energies more quickly. I had to wake up really early because I was clearing not only my traumas, but a lot of the collective's traumas. And so I transmute at a collective level. I'm working on a multiverse experience right now. So they're showing me, and I'm getting used to working more and more in coming in and out of those dimensions that I don't want to stay in, but I get to tap in and for a day or two or a couple of hours or two and do what I need to do, offer what I need to offer, and then I'm working with other energies in other frequencies. Everybody experiences their frequency of earth based on their inner vibration, their core vibration, right? So your core vibration, if you're not working with your chakras, if you're not aligned with working with your higher self and your guides and the teams that are calling you, that are teams that are there working with you, you have a shifting of teams. Your guides are shifting every time you move through a vibrational experience, a dimensional experience, because your guides are there to prepare you and to help you transition to in a multidimensional way. Again, everything we talk about is not just one thing, it's a multidimensional experience. When, like for now, I've shifted up into a new experience. I'm working with a new set of archangels. I'm going to be working with more and more archangels. And so the archangels that I'm going to be working with are assisting with us understanding light. Our communication is light because we are multi-vibrational beings. We are constantly sending and receiving energy. Those of us that are conduits, those of us that have worked through a lot of interfacing from the density to the light. Of course, I'm still dense, right? I still have density, I still have matter, I still have bones, but I'm getting used to the acceleration of different vibrations of light, different oscillations of light bandwidths, frequencies, dimensions that I can move in and out of. I'm going to be accelerating my efficiency, if you will, optimization, as we talked about in my other video, on how to move in and out of density frequencies, out of navigational earth experiences. And again, that will have a great encompassment, which we're going to be needing those that are really excited about healing to really work with your teams, because as one of the questions said below, offerings of everything that I say, take with a grain of salt, because I'm moving farther and farther away from 3D. I don't diagnose anything. I never have claimed to. I give what spirit gives, and I don't give a crap what people think as far as their ideas or their generalizations or their opinions, because they don't know shit. Anybody at a 3D level that has been at a traditional experience of 3D doctorate, if you will, and they haven't not in touch with their higher self at all, they're not aligned with their higher self body, they're not aligned with any of the aspects of who they are, any of those experiences, they're not able to see the multidimensional interfacing of what has been traditionally diagnosed as a disorder, be it schizophrenia, be it mental disorder. It doesn't matter what it's called. Really step away from what you think anybody has called anything. It helps you if that helps you, right? If that helps you to have a definition, that helps you to kind of get to know yourself. We are going to be seeing in the next 5 years a huge uptick in our understanding as to how brains function in higher light, quasi-physical, if you will. And really a lot of the mental disorders, and I say that loosely, and a lot of the diseases, if you will, have a lot to do with the inability to harmonize soul fragments. And so there's nothing, nobody knows anything about these things. If you go to a psychiatrist, they won't know anything about those things. So what I would suggest, those that have been diagnosed with those things, there's really good audiobooks that you can learn for yourself from a higher perspective. I suggest this to everybody. If you're going to 3D physical doctors, that's fine. That's what you need. And absolutely, absolutely look after your care, be your best advocate. Then on the other half, know that you're a multidimensional being. Use a higher vibrational aspect of who you are as a multidimensional being, what you're here to create and co-create and transcend. And look into the Seth Soul, I think it's called The Experience of the Soul. If you go to the Seth books about the soul itself, you'll get a very vast and wide understanding as to how various aspects of your soul come forward when you're going through great times of unsafety, medical issues, collective upset, especially if you're an empath and you're a psychic or a crystal or a rainbow, whatever you want to call it, hybrids. And we're going to talk about that in 2024 because that's a whole other thing. We're going to be advancing our medical systems like we won't even be able to understand how much we're going to advance. Everything in 2024 that we will be talking about in my classes, whether you're a healer, teacher, or leader, and leaders should be taking my classes because it helps them understand and let go of old paradigm offerings as far as just lumping everybody under one basket because we can't be. Everybody comes with a different genetic allocation. That genetic allocation helps us understand behaviors, helps us understand psychosis, helps us understand the psyche in and of itself. And so we're going to be learning so much and advancing so much in how we have allowed ourselves to be defined. Again, who are you? What do you exist within? What exists within you? Those are the Ascension 3 questions. So you can get lost, if you will, if you're looking at who you are becoming as a higher vibrational being from a 3D perspective, because 3D wants you to stay boxed and clicked in boxes that you don't fit anymore. Because we are ascending into a 4 or 5D experience, you can't be put into 3D boxes of diagnosis. You just can't. We're churning into the paradigms of these beautiful crystals that are multidimensional. And it again goes back to what part of the psyche is not healed, not harmonized, and not integrated. That's when the break occurs. So in the process of this now experience, which we are accelerating in this now experience, the now impression of who you are as a soul is so important. Because if that now impression is scattered and lost and in fear because those other aspects have not been healed, that's when absolutely you can have symptoms of psychosis, psychiatric detachment, where you're detaching from that old version of yourself and it hasn't been harmonized fully in the new version of self. And so if you listen to those Seth books on the soul progression, you'll learn so much. So I advise anybody, especially if you have been diagnosed from a 3D perspective of anything to do with schizophrenia and bipolar, any of those things. If you go and listen to those Seth audiobooks, which were put out a long time ago, back in the 70s, that's where we're heading to, because we need to understand the psyche in and of itself as the ball of soul of all that you are, and it affects your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Because you're a spiritual being above and first of all. The break happens when you're trying to, again, stay fit within dogmatic staunchness, dogmatic beliefs that are staunch and rigid, and they don't fit anymore. Again, your practices of who you think you are, what you fit within, and why you're practicing certain things that are limiting, beliefs that are limiting, whether it's sexual preferences, whether it's ideologies, whether it's the beliefs about who you are, what you exist with, and what exists within you. And dogmatic practices are, that's just everything dogmatic practices are, to keep you limited and controlled and practiced in a certain thing when you're not. You're a multidimensional being and you're accelerating very quickly. So we need to be able to see ourselves in this cosmic gem of a crystal and be able to see ourselves from multidimensional experiences and know too, there's a couple of you listening right now. There's showing me 2 of you that are listening right now that you have, they're saying you're going through, obviously, throat chakra fears because you're not talking about it and you're not connecting with those that are also psychically advanced, because you are psychically advanced with your throat chakra. You need to connect with those that are more psychically advanced and work with those that are positive vibrational healers. Because as you're moving through an accelerated Earth's ascension, if you are not doing your daily clearing, this is why we talk about what we talk about, it's so important. Your practices daily on your fields, your chakras, your soul perspectives, healing past traumas, and releasing yourself from toxic people. Because toxic people, especially the energies that I came from, they were doing black magic, which even messed you mentally up even more so. They do root work and binding work and all that kind of crap, which fucks up your soul. So fucks up your spirit, fucks up your sense of self. Usually those people that do those coven, cult, Masonic type of experiences, they have a vulnerability and low sense of self, low sense of self-esteem. And then they connect with people that do spell work, that even torture the spirit and the soul, which a lot of people that have been done spell work on for enormous lengths of time, in various of the toxic experiences that will be coming out in the underground. Many of the community elites, corrupt programs that have been doing human testing, mind bending, ASP, all of those things, go back to my videos. It messes up your brain. It messes up your sense of self. It even confuses and retards your ability to maintain the new sense of self, the now impression. The now impression is who you are harmonized as you. What work have you done? Who are you now? And who do you choose to be? Because you're a soul, you're an evolving soul. You have infinite aspects of who you are. So if you're not grounded in your sense of self, if you don't have a sense of self story, if you're not working on your sense of self, you're going to be wishy-washy back and forth with anybody around you, especially those that use and do they're con men. They're perfect at being con artists. And they're in government, they're in business, they're in every walk of life. Pastors that think they're, that read from a book, but they're using mental mind controls and things like that. So go back to the video that we have on You Are Supported. It talks about mind scraping, what all that is, the brainwashing communities, cults, covens. That is the lower vibrational experiences that people were trying to find themselves a place to belong. And it's a complete, what it does, the damage, the destruction it does to the soul, to the spirit, to the mind, and to the body. And why I've been talking about it. It's a huge mess. And all of these people that have belonged to those experiences, even if it's dogmatic trauma, long time in Catholicism, they're going to have to be healed. And there's no psychiatric person. They'll just claim. Psychiatric people have no idea about what I talk about. They would just classify them under a certain category and they would give them synthetic drugs, which even suppresses you even further because you have to tap into the psyche itself. The psyche is who you are as spirit, as a psychic being, knowing that you're all aspects. But if you're not practiced and harmonized into the new now impression of you, that who am I, as Jesus said, that is my story. That is my impression. I know who I am. I return to it daily. That way, it doesn't matter who's in front of you and how powerful and how gifted they think they are at manipulating environments and manipulating energy and manipulating people's minds. They will find themselves going crazy themselves, because they haven't done the work to harmonize those other soul fragments that needed to be soul fragment, because all of their energy was going outside to manipulate others and manipulate others' minds, control, and things like that. So there's going to be a lot of people this year that will be seen going crazy and going insane. A huge upturn in mental facilities. And we say mental facilities because it is the mental body. The matrix is all mental realm. And people have known and learned and abused people. They've abused the systems. They've abused energy. The witches and the warlocks that abuse spell work, the witches and the warlocks that abuse root work and voodoo and all of those things, they will all be called judgment and it's all being sent back. And many of them will be seen to go insane because that's exactly what they pressed on others, and it must be returned back for the soul itself to get its lesson. So that's just another tangent, but we have to understand what we're talking about is the multidimensional facets of who you are as a being. And if you're not doing your daily ascension work, many of the people that have been listening to me for many, many years have been with me for many, many years. So you understand ascension work. You understand that every cycle of ascension, you're going to have a soul fragment that you're going to have to harmonize, create the now impression. Who are you now? Who are you? What do you exist within? What exists within you? And then you have the 3 E's. You're here to explore, and experience yourself as new. You're going to experience yourself as new light. You're going to explore yourself as new light. You're going to express yourself as new light. Those clairsentient experiences, they captured it all under clairsentience. So who I'm connecting with today, and I have the, thank you, the operating guides. So what's happening right now is because we're shifting, I'll just give you a preamble. we're shifting right now in a multiverse experience because there's going to be timelines that will sift it out, energies and consciousness that are sifted out because they haven't done enough of the dense clearing to operate in this aspect of dimensional light. And every soul has its heart chakra intention as the soul itself, because the soul is connected with God. God is connected with everything in all aspects of life. God knows what potential that soul has to do that dense clearing between now and the next cycle of ascension, where the light comes down, and it's coming down all the time. I'm just giving this to you as a general because there's more to it. I can only say so much in this short conversation that's a 3D. Cycles of ascension are going to be accelerating, which means that, as we talked about in our other videos, you're going to have to get quicker at processing and integrating light. So practice integrating with light. Practice new ways of communication. Practice new ways of turn off old TV shows, put on videos about quantum science or DNA, things that allow you to think more highly scientific. So that you can catch the brain up on higher vibrational intelligence, because we have been quite numbed and dumbed, and we're going to be allowing ourselves to learn what we've already learned, what we've already known. And so, okay, go back there. Okay, we want to talk about the, thank you, Holy Spirit. So they're showing me the multiverse right now. So because there's shifting within the multiverse in and of itself, there's much going on behind the scenes of God's plan. The beings that I'm working with in this moment right now is called the Archangels of Clarion. And the Archangel of Clarion is a new series of beings under the wings of Archangel Michael that are assisting with messenger information because and of course they're saying this because it's all about the communication of information of who you are as spirit. The Clarion series, Angels, is the series of Archangel Michael. The series of Sandalphon, Archangel Uriel. Did I miss an Archangel's Uriel and Archangel Michael? And those angels have given a new branch to us right now. So exciting, yay. Because we're going to be, again, we're those of us that have been on the path for a while, we are leveling up as community leaders, as planetary leaders, and also ambassadors to the go-between, to the councils and the federations. So we're going to need higher vibrational communication. And I've experienced to being high vibrational. Ascension is a process where you have to transmute and navigate, negotiate energies. Again, if you're behaving in lower vibrational ways and your focus is outer, you're doing all those kind of corrupt things, the more corrupt you are, the harder ascension will be, and then you'll be sifted out, because corruption is going to be turned on its belly. God's plan is underway. We're on the next series of ascension experiences. So there's going to be those of us that have to be able to communicate, because there will be those that have not done enough density clearing, and they're going to be in confusion. They're going to be not knowing how to work with their multidimensional bodies. Those of you that have been with me for a while, you're prepared. So they're showing me you're prepared. And I know there's some of you that are listening now in Future Now Moments that you don't think that you're a teacher or a healer, but you are, because you've been really lacking your confidence to think that you have anything to offer and help humanity, but you do. So Spirit's just letting you know that you will be called upon to use your history of how you've processed your ascension, how you've processed the energies that come to you every day, how you accept it and allow it and acknowledge it back into yourself. That's your harmonization of your soul fragments, so that you're not going to feel scattered, and what some people have classified and even experienced as schizophrenic. So we have to understand, as we're moving into 2024, I'll probably be a part of some studies because I can see the interfacing of the psyche, if you will, the psyche, on what part of the energy of the soul has not been harmonized. And then we can call that fragment in and then reharmonize it. The soul, the now impression, then chooses the version of the wholeness that it wants to be and to become and to work with. So let me say that again, because we have to get used to this. We have to get used to how I'm talking. You're a facet of a crystal that is multidimensional, that is constantly perpetuating itself in a toroidal experience. Every now experience, I will be getting, down the road, I'll be getting multidimensional images and videos that will show you what I'm talking about. A toroidal is constantly spinning in this beautiful apex of light, depending on you're going through your density, clearing your density, self-love, forgiveness, acknowledgement, allowance, and acceptance. All of those transmuting densities, facing your shadow, all of those things allow you to keep transmuting density, becoming greater light. Calling in the light, working with your light as you're leveling up, leveling up, leveling up. Thank you, Holy Spirit. You're allowing yourself to be integrated and meshed with, as we talk about the enmeshment as in my last video, the enmeshment and the harmonization, the marriage with God. The marriage with God is your assimilation, your working breath for breath with God. The God is the omnipresent field. The God is the forest. The God is everything that is tangible matter, that is the unseen. Everything is God. The more in marriage you are with that, the more allowing you are with that to become greater and greater light. Nothing to you in the matter seems strange or unreal or weird. Go back to what we talked to about the psyche and its experiences of you through yourself. So say that again slowly. The psyche, your experiences of you through yourself, the variations of dimensional threading and light, depending on what's coming forward for you to acknowledge and account for and harmonize and heal. This goes in because we're multidimensional and everybody is different. Everybody is working from a different pacing and a different variation of who they are as a soul. Those, I'll give you an example. I'll give you 3 examples. Those that have worked in very dense, low vibrational, dogmatic, brainwashing, cult, coven, Masonic groups that are forcing staunch, limited, rigid brain mindset, we call that retardation, because it's forcing the brain to be small and not allowing the light to flow and break all and crack all that density calcium up. The light needs to get in to move greater mind flow, the synaptic mind thoughts, the pathways that your synapses go through. They're very staunch. Your brain and your mental patterns are either open or they're closed. The more that you practice open mind thought, anything is possible, higher vibrational mind thought, you're clearing away the calcium, you're changing the brain synaptic patterns. You have to do that. God gives you anything is possible, but you have to actually be the commander of it. The most challenging part that people will find and why they find my energies so triggering is because they've been chosen to come with their experience of their life, human life, if you will, but they're going to be breaking very staunch religious traumas and patterns for their lineage. And their patterns have seen God's spirit as one thing, but spirit is all things. That will be the hardest thing for them to experience. Therefore, it suppresses and depresses, and why many go seek out cults, covens, very dogmatic churches, people that tell them what to do, because they don't feel safe in their own knowingness of who they are as spirit. Everybody is a unique template. I'm a template. I have a unique template with God. Am I interfacing with God? Am I interfacing with nature? Am I interfacing with celestials? Am I interfacing with aliens? Am I interfacing with the angelics? I have a unique interfacing because I love being at my interface with spirit. But there's the genetic codings. Again, this is a multidimensional experience. I'm giving it to only as fast as quick as I can. There are people within their DNA that don't have, that are very young in their soul's experience to express and to be a part of compassion. That's the heart chakra. Your chakras are very important to everything that you are as a multidimensional being. There are those, and again, everybody is different. This is why my teachings are so important and my teachings have to get out there. The DNA allocation is one part of it. The next part of it is if they're coming from their DNA lineage and they've chosen for their lineage, especially those that have had very staunch, dogmatic religious traumas, they like to discriminate within trauma, and that's okay. There's no judgment. I'm giving you this is how religion is. Discrimination, I say discrimination not as a negative. I say discrimination as definition. There's infinite number of religions. Those religions have very definite rules that they place people into. That's what religion is, so that they can understand who they are and what God is to them. Okay, we're breaking beyond that. There are those in every religion that will be there to break those traumas of mental patterning that religious drama has brought them. Because if they've chosen to be those ones, especially within Catholicism and any other staunch, especially in the Middle East, very staunch religions about discrimination, about women, elders, nature, because religion also ties in within discrimination because it wants to stay within its certain order of rules and behaviors and patterns. because of its order of itself within society, of itself within who they think God is and what they are as God. All of that will be breaking apart. And that will be what will cause most people to question, who are they? They will question people like me. They will question everything they think God is. No, we're meant to question it. So question it. That's how you know you're awakening. If it doesn't make sense to you, just allow it. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. You're allowing yourself to slowly wash away what religions have told you and thought you were, but you're not. Remember, the 3 questions of ascension. Who are you? What you exist within? What exists within you? God is everything. Period, point blank. It's not a religion. It's not a thing. We've placed religions around what we thought we wanted because it helped us understand who we are as beings of light. And we happen to be in matter form, but that's changing because we're becoming more and more light. The crystalline and the carbon aspects of us is every human being. Every human being has a crystalline and a carbon aspect. The more that you work with light, you're becoming more and more crystalline. Your DNA, your bones, your blood, you can heal things overnight. You're becoming more enmeshed and more marriage with God. That's what I practice, my marriage with God. And I'm going to be speaking more and more about breaking up the traumas and the bondage that religion places us in, just like mental illness. Mental illness is like a religion, if you will. There are things in the medical community that is like a religion. They're going to have to be all shaken up and broken up. No, because we're God. Anything can be worked around, whether it's the DNA, whether it's a genetic disease, whether it's not a genetic disease, whether it's something you catch. It doesn't matter what it is because you've manifested it. So it's just a matter of returning back to the godly self and rewriting it as an aspect of light. And it depends because, as I said, everybody's different. So there'll be those that are the DNA allocations, those that are coming for their lineage, and their lineage will be very powerful in our collective. So many of you will be taking on those stories. And don't be afraid of it. Look forward to it. Get excited about it with positive passion. No protesting, positive passion. Because you're meant to say, let's look at religion in a new and different way. Let's look at religion as something that we just went through as a staircase to who we are as an all being. Because you have to think about what we're preparing ourselves for. I'm preparing you. They're showing me this. I'm preparing you for this. You're ready to hear this, so I'm going to say it. I don't give a shit because Spirit's showing me you're ready, so you're ready. I'm preparing you to see yourself as an insectoid. I'm preparing you to see yourself as an Arcturian. I'm preparing you to see yourself as a light gray. I'm preparing you to see yourself as an Orion. I'm preparing you to see yourself as a feline. I'm preparing you to see yourself as a Lyran. I'm preparing you to see yourself as a Pleiadian, and Pleiadians come in infinite number of species. I'm preparing you to see yourself as a Sirian. I'm preparing you to see yourself as an Andromedan. I'm preparing you to see yourself as pure light. I'm preparing you to see yourself as an angelic. Every one of those aspects of beings, they experience God in new ways, different ways. They explore, express, and experience God in different ways. They've been brought up with their experiences, and we're going to be learning about how we express and explore and experience God. That's oneness. That's unity. We have to get this very dense experience kind of out of the way. And a lot of them is how we've defined ourselves, thought ourselves to be, and what we told ourselves to be from very corrupt, false leaders, programs of fear and discrimination, and programs of fear and control and enslavement. And that includes the church. That includes medicine. Because it's all politically based. It's politically biased. Again, it's about the money. It's about power. That's not in a unified world. Power is who you are as spirit and working with it, negotiating with it, minutia, enmeshment, symbolization with it. That's God. Once you understand yourself as God, then you can start to say, okay, you're a multidimensional being, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and then that sexual part of it, as we become more 5D, it will be more androgynous. So everybody's going to be going through their sexual minutiae as to who they are in this now moment. Be free to experience yourself in every now moment brand new. The other thing I wanted to say, remember DNA allocation for your lineage, you're going to be exploring and expressing and really releasing a lot of, you'll be a part of clearing collective religious traumas. So, there'll be some of you that are there now in future now moments that are listening to this. It will be a part of healing collective traumas with religion. And that's why you've taken some roles. That's why you've been born in the family you were born in. That's why you've chosen to take the path that you were taking. And so just know that. And so what was that other thing you were going to say, Spirit? Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Oh, yeah. And the other one was many of you future now moments will be assisting with so they're saying Gaia allocation with the DNA allocation. We're going to talk about more of these in our classes for those of you that are specific teachers and those of you that are writing books. So, you can send me $33 for the class. My information is down below. I only take those that have been on the path for a while because they are advanced classes. And is there anything I need to say for that? It's just the integration for the Gaia experience, how you're, okay, so we're going back remember, we're multidimensional. I'm going back and forth because that's how the Christ consciousness is. We're multidimensional. I'm going back and forth at different timelines because there's other people I'm talking to in another timeline right now, that are in a celestial class. So, hello, celestials. There's always celestial beings that are with me in my teachings because they're learning from me as I'm learning from them. I'm also a teacher on other realms and other planets and other galaxies. And so we're in a multiverse class right now. So just taking a moment out to say hello to all of our star brothers and sisters. So just take a deep breath. Feel yourself grounding. Grounding is very, 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 very important as we're accelerating. Practice grounding every day throughout your day. Ground. And grounding means just feel the pillar of light that runs along your spine and feel your pillar of light grounding into Gaia, saying hello to Gaia. Thank you, Gaia. Appreciating Gaia. Being grateful for Gaia because that opens up your symbiosis with Gaia. Symbiosis is a multidimensional experience. If you want more of these informations, just book an appointment with me. And your symbiosis is going to be very, very important to your health, especially those that are highly psychic and sensitive, highly oscillating, some aspects of autism, where your high functioning brain, if you will, needs to be grounded so that you can participate in a holistic experience, meaning you're not being scattered. And you can feel more comfortable in who you are without feeling judged or defined into crazy boxes that aren't you. So we're going to be moving a huge transition. I'm so very excited to be a part of it because it's like we're shaking off this huge, it's like they're taking off these huge heavy clothes that just don't fit for us anymore because they've suppressed us and depressed us and defined us in very small boxes, which we're not. They've just been misunderstood, absolutely misunderstood. And so just feel your grounding and just say hello to the various beings because you're also showing me that some of you are on these other frequencies of classes. So they're saying we're coming to you as a multi-planet Ascension class. So they're showing me the other aspects of me that are teaching and offering. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So these are just, I'm shape-shifting and I'm able to transmute myself in and out of experiences and show myself these other windows. Again, the mansions of the many houses that I told you about. When you're in this big mansion and you have aspects of you in other rooms, it's just a matter of you're threading yourself there. So that way you can become a more holistic being. And again, that's what we said earlier about those of us that have an interfacing where we can traverse aspects of dimension. It's very natural for us to do that. And we're teaching others how to do that as well, because you're meant to. You're a multiverse being. Why would you have all these aspects of your soul and not want to tap into them? They're yours. It's your gift. That's why you don't need to take anything from anybody. You don't need to want to be anybody else because you have infinite soul aspects. You're meant to bring your template to life. You're meant to bring your soul blueprint to life. So we're going to be, as they said earlier, your clairsentience, your knowingness of who you are as spirit is going to be unique and different to each and every person based on, again, your DNA allocation, your species, we want to say that lightly, mission, I guess, what you're here to transcend for the collective good, for the greater good. Because again, they're showing me, so this is really cool. They're showing me kind of like a college. We're transcending out of elementary school, I guess, into a college. Those of you that are listening now in Future Now Moments of how to operate within the multiverse. Very few of you are operating within this perspective, but you will be by the end of the year. I say end of the year by 2024. Those of you that are going to get used to working within your light body, you can feel yourself working within a multiverse perspective. Joanna has already been doing this for about 6 months, been feeling it viscerally. We want to go to that classroom again. Yes, it's very fun. So the classroom is like these elevated experiences of vibrational experience where you can see yourself in the veil, because the veils are getting thinner and thinner. So that's why beautiful experiences like that are helping me. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Just really fall in love with the gifts that we've been offered by Gaia, by God, and by what we've been trained with and by who we've been in other lifetimes and how we're able to harmonize and integrate all of those aspects of self, those soul fragments of self, and bring all of our gifts forward now. The now impression, as we're going, now impression, if you can remember that, is returning to your highest version of you now. It's going to be really important that these are going to be the new. Remember, we have daily tips and tricks that we work with on our daily ascension. We talk about them all the time. The 3 E's of ascension, the 3 A's of ascension, and the 3 questions of ascension. And then practicing that daily and grounding and harmonizing in your now impression. The now impression will be the now 2024 new daily tip. Because that now impression returns you quickly back to self, because we've been practicing that, quickly back to self, and then intending, directing, and focusing on your timeline. so that you're one with God in whatever God wants to unfold for you. Trusting and surrendering to God that God knows your blueprint. God will unfold your gifts. God will unfold your skills. God will unfold your talents based on the counsels you come with, your DNA allocation. It's all integrated. It's all perfect and real. You're now learning that you have an absolute divine soul blueprint. You have gifts and skills and talents that are meant to work in union and symbiosis with that soul blueprint, and why you've had to go through the tests and the challenges that you have, because God will place those that have gone through the tests and challenges and come through with certain capacities. They don't grade. Their capacities to allow ourselves to balance in the minutia of various so there, I'm just realizing how profound this really is. So it's going to take me probably a little while to integrate this, because it's quite profound. I've just been going as I've been going. But God is showing me now how profound this really is. They're showing me like all of these, like there's no words for what they're showing me. It's like this crystalline field, and it's see-through. It's like a vibrational realm template. Template is the best way to explain it. As this template of experience is, remember, everything in the physical is an illusion. It's only there for you to explore, express, and experience who you are as a soul, and why the soul lessons are so important. Your soul wants to experience different templates, because that's how you grow as a soul. That's how your gifts get activated. That's how your skills get activated. That's how your DNA gets activated. That's how your mind clears the calcium and the brain through the synaptic programs that you thought were high vibrational thought forms, but they were really not. We're going to be going way out there, and you have to be able to know yourself as this malleable being of light that is God. And that's what we're going to be tapping into by the end of 2024. We're going to be seeing ourselves very malleable in this quasi-physical, if you will. But they're showing me this template, this see-through field. And this see-through field has like balls. I have a picture of this. I barely used this image that I downloaded. And I was very attracted to this image that I downloaded. So they're showing me that image, just of these very silver platinum balls. And these balls are vibrating on this sheath of crystal. The sheath of crystal is a vibrational template of where you're at in that moment as your dimension, if you will. You then crystallize yourself into matter form to experience, explore, and express what you're doing in that moment, and then you can move out of it and move to something else. That's how malleable we will be becoming. The clairsentience of our now impression. They wanted to show me that because this is how profound it is, because I'm just going along and being myself and just doing the best that I can. But now they're showing me how profound it is, what I've come through. They were showing me this field of this crystal and all of these balls that I've had to harmonize because I'm a conduit. Part of my gift is to take what is out of disorder and bring it into order. Because I work with collective, global, multiverse energies. I'm able to do that. I can handle collective energies. Why I've had to go through the challenges I've had, why I've had to be able to be tested so that I don't misuse my gifts. I've been tested for 10 years that I know of. I started working with my teams a good 10 years ago, practicing my gifts and making sure that I was honoring the laws, because I was very serious about, my path of ascension. I found it incredible. But I was very, very in deep respect and humbling of spirit. And I practice with spirit. I would ask spirit to give me another experience so that I can do better. If there was, I'll give you another example the other day, and I'm tested at every level. The other day, I was out in a restaurant, and there was people at other tables, and I was tapping into their aura fields, the sexual energy fields of what was going on, because usually that's the first thing that is out of whack, is the sexual energy that people carry, because we're still living in a highly dominated, fear-based experience where most people are not in balance with their sexual energies. Most people are out of balance because they're not healed. The lower chakras are the most unstable, because you can't move to the higher chakras till you heal the lower chakras and harmonize the lower chakras. And those are safety, balance. Who are you? Are you safe in your sexual centers? Are you expressing your sexual centers with honor and responsibility? Those types of things. So if you want a healing session, that's what we work on. And then there's also lots of stuff online. But again, discern who you're going to and who you're giving power to when it comes to your healing and your chakras. And there should be no there should be less and less readers that are giving out information on other people besides the people asking the questions. Because again, there is so much going on with your own ascension. There should be no time left for you to be focusing on anybody outside of you, and really discern and let go of anybody that works in any energy where they're focusing on other people, scamming against other people, scheming against those cults and covens that I've come from. I wasn't in any of those cults and covens. They were just targeting me because I did not want to be a part of their cult or coven. So, but just know that any time you have anybody or readers that are focusing on, if the focus is on outer side, you're wasting a lot of your own energy and you're going to be very scattered. And there will be a point where each of those people get into psychosis, because we are going to be accelerating so fast that if you're not doing your daily work, if you're not harmonizing in who you are, you will have those scattered moments. You will feel like you're going insane, because your now impression is not pure and sacred. Your now impression is not real, pure, and firm in who you are. That's why the now impression is so important. Who are you? Doesn't matter who's staring in front of you, who's standing in front of you, what their manipulations, what their agendas are. No, your now impression pierces through all of it, and that's all that matters. So it's going to be very important that we practice the now impression. Who are you with God now? And then absolutely accept those shadow aspects. Absolutely accept that you're working on envy. Absolutely accept that you're working on jealousy. Absolutely accept that you're working on, as we said in the restaurant the other day, I was scanning the room, and I wasn't really I didn't purposely intend to scan it. I was just like looking around, and I was seeing the auras and the sexual imbalances of the couples that were at the tables. And so I said, Spirit wanted to show me that because that's my gift. I have that gift. And then I said, I was feeling into the energies of dissonance, because they were showing me that's how I can see and feel into my gifts. And then I closed it down. So they give me that because that's my gifts. They have to show me what my gifts are. And then if a client came up to me from a table and said, oh, I see that you're a healer, do you mind answering a few questions? That would be their approval for me to tap into their field. But that's how Spirit tests you. And so Spirit knows that I've gone through probably, I don't know, 1 million tests that they've put me through in different ways, where I close it down. They show me what they need to show me, and then I close it down. Because it's not up to me to tap into their fields if I'm not asked to heal that aspect of them, because that's their permission. So me as a healer, that's the honor I take. I hold that with great respect. So when people have a session with me, the session is closed, that's it. The only other things I do with my clients is just send them light, because that's my agreement to them. They're clients and subscribers of mine. I send them light. There is no cords, there's no mess, there's no messing around, because that's my contract with God. There are those that have targeted me that have absolutely messed with subscriber lists, and they feed energy off subscriber lists. And they misuse and abuse their gifts, and those are the ones that will be siphoned out to go experience their soul's path and work with Spirit more, because they're abusing their gifts, they're abusing their talents, and those will be turned off. So God gives everybody a chance to work with your gifts, work with your guides. If you're not working with your guides and say, okay, guys, let's work with this today. Let's work with that today. That's why you have guides, to work with you. And if you're not confident in your gifts and skills, then tell Spirit, let's work with my gifts. So like today, I'm working with my gifts because I'm on a whole new level, and Spirit said, let's start working with your gifts in new ways. I'm meant to put myself out there in new ways because I have new gifts. I have to start practicing them. So coming on these live sessions, it gives me a great opportunity, because when you come on live sessions, you're giving permission to have your energy field tapped into the collective live. And then I pull out collective energies. And I talk about what's in the collective field so that you guys can get kind of like a free mini reading, if you will. And I don't tap into anybody's specific traumas unless you book a session with me. Because once the session is over, then I close off. All the cords are cut. They're sent on their way. I put a seal of protection around me, and they're sent on their way. That's how people should be working. And that's why those of you that are healers, leaders, and teachers, you should be coming, if you want to, come to me or talk to your teams about amping up and being more refined with your archangels and your teams to ensure that, because God's testing you. God's testing everybody at this point. Everybody's being tested. And I say that in an exuberant, exciting way. You want to be able to ensure that you're always going to be this now impression into a higher version of you. So again, what are your morals? What are your values? What is your integrity? Spirit's not going to put somebody that is a 5D leader when all they've done for their entire 3D life is harm and hurt people and abuse gifts and manipulate energy and manipulate people and deceive people. There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of density there. There's a lot of darkness there. And these people have to be healed. There's a lot of wounding. So they're not going to be leaders. Again, first will be last and last will be first. Because you have to work through that density. You cannot integrate high capacity, multidimensional light and wisdom if you're not working through your daily density. You got to work through it. You won't be able to process the higher vibrational light. And that's why they showed me in 2024, there'll be a lot that will go into mental breakdowns because we're not understanding. And my stuff has been suppressed for 6 years now. The collective is kind of behind the 8 ball as far as healing goes and catching up with light integration. So we're going to be seeing it over the next couple of months. There's going to be a lot of stuff purged from the underground, which is the subconscious of the collective. And those are not staying in the now impression to keep transmuting whatever comes up, to open up to infinite beliefs and release yourself from as much rigidity as possible. Every day you could be writing at the end of your day, what did I work through today that I'm excited to be open and fluid and honoring with the all? Acceptance of the all, open to the all is one. Because as I said earlier, I'm preparing you to meet yourself as an insectoid. I'm preparing you to meet yourself as a bird person. So if you have a hard time knowing that the Israelites are the same as, Catholic, see what I'm saying? These definitions absolutely put us in boxes, and they create fear, dissension, and discrimination, and wars, as we see what's happening now. Which they did tell me there's a whole bunch of other things that are nefarious leaders that will be called out, and they'll be moved and shifted as well. God's got a plan going on for all that. The people that have been using and abusing humanity's money, and just, covering it up as a war. It's all about greed and gluttony by very, very false leaders. And so we wanted to go back there. So the clarion angels, the archangels, it's a series of new angels that are working with us, becoming and transitioning into greater light, so that we're working with ourselves as light. And so they're going to be helping us because we are multidimensional beings and we're always communicating. That's the vibration. Your vibration never lies, right? So that's why it's important. Are you working on your stuff every day so you can be a higher vibration? So your vibration is to... who are you? What exists within? What exists within you? Keep exploring that every day. Keep expressing that every day. Keep experiencing that every day. That's how you always maintain a higher and higher version of your now impression. You're going to constantly challenge yourself to be higher, to be more expansive, to be more contractive, to be more expansive, to be more contractive, because you're always calling out energy. You're calling it in, and you're going to process it. You're going to sit with it. You're going to wonder it. You're going to ponder it. You're going to be a new version of it. And then you're going to say, this is who I am now. So everybody has in their birthright that is their birthright. They have their birthright to explore God in every new moment. Part of my soul's mission is to be the template of the hybridization, which means the higher capacity humans of various aspects of DNA. Again, your DNA allocation. Who are you? What do you exist with? And where do you come from? Expressively. I say expressively because that's what you're meant to express for your collective, i.e. insectoids, i.e. Pleiadian, i.e. bird people. Each of those species, if you have a high allocation of, we'll talk about it in my classes because it's a very complex experience, but it has to do with your template, your interfacing, how you clear conscience, how do you express yourself as God? That's your clairsentience. And you do have to go through tests so that your conscience level, your clear conscience level, no matter what you're expressing, you absolutely know that you are in alignment of the greater good. What is my part in this transaction? Because your clear conscience might tell you, no, don't give anything out at this time. They're not ready for what you're gonna say. Because there's gonna be people in front of you that are gonna be ready for what you're gonna say, and there's gonna be people that aren't. I don't have any power over that. I don't care. God just tells me, yes, you can say that. Like I did earlier in this video, they said that you're ready to say it. I have to start speaking these things as we have to get going here. We've been held back for 6-7 years now. So the templates are changing. Again, the interfacing, that crystalline field that I told you about, that's how come it was such a profound thing for me, because they were showing me all these balls that I was harmonizing and I was creating that symbiosis of order. And because this is someplace we've never hit before as a human collective, I'm speaking as a conduit. And so if you're having challenge keeping up with me, because it's a multidimensional communication, there'll be things deposited in your fields for those of you that are ready to explore, expand, but you have to unpack it yourself. That's your responsibility. as a conduit, we have the ability at a multiverse experience to see many things, to experience many things. There's more going on than you see or know. I express it in only the way that 3D words can, although again, there's more going on than what I'm saying. What they were showing me is that because those of us that have a higher vibrational interfacing, I can see, sense, and know and experience in best ways that I can and then express it. The clairconscience has to be tested. Again, the various testings that God puts me through. Why these live sessions are important and our classes are so important is because those are also tests to allow me how much can I open. We've tapped into new dimensional realms that were never tapped into before. And it has to be done in a way so that we're not going to reproduce Atlantis and Lemuria through tragedy, through destruction. So our progression as a human evolution light species is going to be very important for us to follow those certain universal rules and laws. That's why we've been talking about it so very much the last 3 years, because we want to go down paths that will allow us to expand into the highest potential of intelligence, that is light, because this is the experimental planet for the diverse species of God's creation, the God's garden. And in that, we must follow and adhere to the laws of the universe, the laws of one, because we don't want to interfere. Right? Give you an example. Many of you that have been following my channels, if because of my light work and what I do, it's only up to me and God to know what I do and my teams. If I focus on a certain aspect of the collective, you'll see something come out the next 2 or 3 days in the media that have to be dealt with, they have to be faced. I'm a conduit. I pull that darkness, is what they were showing me, those little balls of things that are moving on the template field. They have to be cleared. We have to make order of the disorder that's out there. There's a lot of chaotic disorder because people are not tuned into their bodies. They're not tuned into who they are, what they are, what they exist within, because all of these teachings have been suppressed. And there's little that are taking ownership and commandmentship of their bodies. Again, what I teach is very important. So then I go in and I break up that cancer, I break up that density, and then the balls start going like this. Well, it has to be transmuted. We have to make something of that dark matter. So anything that gets pulled up and broken up, there's that fear and that worry that's in the collective, but there's no need to. Just transmute that energy, call it into use for your now impression, make something higher and better for yourself. We're constantly evolving beings of multiverse clairsentience, communication of God. That's what clairsentient is. Your communication is God. Again, we're not looking at the 3D terms and definitions because I don't speak that. I don't know that. I speak as what God gives me. Clairsentience is your communication, sending and receiving as God. Because again, as we're going to tap into 2024, you have a different DNA allocation. You have come with different themes on your soul's blueprint, whether it's clearing up dogmatic traumas, clearing up political traumas, clearing up Gaia traumas, whatever it might be for your species. That will be what is in your blueprint to move through, period. Now we're on a higher rung of evolution. You're going to be tested in different ways for your species, for your classes that you're in, the classrooms that you're in the school of the multiverse. Because I see you in these classrooms, you're all in school. This earth is Earth school. And we've been very numb and dumb to everything that we are as multiverse beings. I'm teaching you, I'm imploring you, I'm inspiring you, I'm encouraging you, and get out there and be expansive. You're far more than you thought you were. We're now tapping into a higher vibrational level of who we are as clairsentient beings, the communications of God, the vessels of God. But you have to take commandmentship. Who are you? Call in your soul fragments every day. Start working with who you are as light. And then letting go of those very toxic, dysfunctional experiences when they're manipulating and lying and deceit and all of those things, because they bring density, darkness into your fields and your bodies, and it retards your brain. And the brain cannot be retarded right now. Retarded means you're just compressing your brain so that there's no light coming in or out, no new thought forms. God can't get in there. The flow of light cannot get in there. The light codes cannot get in there. You're retarding it. You're bringing it down. You're compressing it. That's what spell work does. You're compressing it into certain thought forms. You're conjuring it into certain thought forms. It has to be compressed. It has to go somewhere. It's not just allowing the flow of God and being a fairy and light and harmonious and everything is open and everything is flowing. La, 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 la. Flow. Be light. Be open. There's a difference there, delighted ones. Are you flowing? Are you light? I can tap into any aspect of who I am in any moment. It's still real for me. It's just another room in the mansion of who I am, and I can tap into it. Tap, 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 tap. Because I want to. It's fun. I can be a fairy. I can be an elemental. I can go into the trees if I want to. Because I can. So can you. What is your clairsentience? Who are you? And you'll want to tap into these aspects of you, for it allows you to play and practice who you are. Why would you want to only be one version of you? Why? How boring. It's like wearing the same set of clothes for the rest of your life. Why would you? Just as Commander Ashtar had said, I'm about 700 years old or more, but I change my form, of course I do. How boring. Many aspects of you, dear lighted ones, play. Your time to play, dear lighted ones. And fear not what others judge of you, because they're sitting from their point of density, carbon crystalline experience. See all beings before you as God. Release the dynamics of color or race or religion or borders where they're born from. It doesn't matter. Because we want you to get used to, dear lighted ones, seeing species before you. Because that's what you are, you're species. You're a new species here on Earth. How does that feel? And when we say that, we actually mean that, because every day you wake up, you're brand new if you so wish. Or you take on the same set of beliefs, the same set of patterns, the same set of practices as you did the day before. How boring. We're saying time to play, dear lighted ones. Are you ready to play? Why not? Be frivolous in who you are as spirit. But absolutely know that you will all be tested in your own unique ways, and we say that with great excitement because you're ready to be more harmonized in who you are as one. Do unto others as you have them do unto you with non-interference. For you don't want people interfering with your life because it impacts you in a negative way. You want to be as free as possible. Free in your expression, free in your experience, free in your exploration as who you are. Interfere with none. Focus on yourself. Stay in your own lane. Live and let live. That is a basic common rule. For you would not want the insectoids pressing themselves on you to force you to be a certain way, taking away your gifts, making sure that you never receive, making sure that you don't have opportunities, making sure that you don't have fun experiences. Why would you want that on your life? And why those that have been doing that to Joanna will find themselves deep, deep in karma, because they've had their warnings for many years. And the Mother, Father, God have had enough. They're now going to be placed exactly in their karmas of restriction that they wanted for her. Because she is a dynamic being of light, and she is meant to fly. She is meant to float. She is meant to be upon the multiverse, because we need her. We need many of you to wake up and expand who you are. Do you feel this? Take a big breath. Hi, and my dedication, and my dedication, my dedication, my dedication, and my lila, cadena, my dedication, and my layla, and a cata de kill, dedication, my dedication, my dedication, my dedication, and a cata de gaia, and a night dedication, and my dedication, I added again, and ground. Feel yourself go into the earth, feel yourself go into the earth, feel yourself go into the earth. Asina markada de kesha jana at the kesha shat the ganna managa de gain and I got the guide. L'application markada de gain and got the gain and I got that nana dedication markada de night 8 night data ma at the gada na. Cleanse, 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 release. Namake the kesha and anaka. Feel yourself, call yourself in, call all your soul fragments in, call all your soul fragments in, call all your soul fragments in, and harmonize at your heart. This is Mother, Father, God. I am a new version of me. It feels so good to be me. It feels amazing to be me. I get to play. I get to be sacred. I get to communicate in the infinite ways that I am. So they're showing me right now, there is a huge, wonderful, wonderful collective of insectoids that are assisting the earth in transitioning into these new templates because they're highly, highly sensitive beings. I love working with the insectoids. They're helping me hear new things and feel new things within the essence of the God spirit. They really help integrate your energy fields. So for those of you that are highly functioning, high functioning autism, high functioning audible, if you have a lot of audible clairsentience, work with the insectoids. It's a good group of beings to work with the insectoids. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Just ground one more time. You're in a different vibration now than you were before you started this live session. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? Put a thumbs up. Put a thumbs up and accept yourself as multidimensional, as highly vibrational. You're vibrating in a higher vibrational experience and sequence of who you are. You see yourself as a constant sequencing of oscillating experience. Can you understand that, dear lighted ones? Say that sentence out loud. I am an infinite oscillating experience of source, and you have different sequencing depending on, again, your environment, what you allow in yourself to be as light. Your information coming and going. You are a constant receptor, and you're a constant offering of information. As you are standing in who you are, the now impression of who you are, that sends out a pulsation. If you're excited to be who you are, that's a pulsation. Communicate with vibrancy. Communicate with knowing. You're going to have these gifts. Say, yes, yes, I will have these gifts. And I'm going to be practicing my communication in very different ways. I can see, I can say, I can song my way through life. The song is the new vibration to clear your fields. Different humming, different clicks, different whistling. Practice, delighted ones. This is what it's like to be the sacred child. Have your children practice with sound. Have your children practice with calling in their light. Calling in their chakras and getting used to communicating with who they are as light. You are a being of light. Everything you are is light. You're just choosing to practice and take on human forms right now. And you have a sequencing to that form. Let's say it this way, dear lighted ones. Make no mistake about this. We'll get you to think about it as you go to bed tonight. There is a sequencing within your body right now, dear lighted ones. And we want you to think beyond your DNA. But that is inclusive because DNA is everything. The sequencing of your body, the environment that it sits within and what you feed it, and what it knows of you, i.e., your cells are constantly responding to your sequencing. So if you're a negative sequencer, if you're a negative coder to your reality will be that of, if you wish, you're recoding your computer. And you're telling that computer very negative things, whether you're intending it for another or yourself or not. It does not matter. Your sequencing is very negative, and therefore thus then it will be. Everything in matter form will take its place around your coding. Your sequencing of it is negative, therefore thus then it will be. So, delighted ones, the clairsentience that you are right now as a God communicator, what will it be? How will you code your all? Will you code it as magnificence? Will you code it as miraculous? Will you code it as various aspects of yourself, ready to take off in new realms and new ways, to communicate in ways that you never thought? Because you are a multiverse being, and there are many species that want to speak with you, delighted ones. They're here. They're here. They're right here, delighted ones. They're you. I'm preparing you to meet yourself as an insectoid because you're here. I'm communicating with you. Does that make sense, delighted ones? Put a thumbs up and say, yes, that makes sense to me. I love insects. I've always loved insects. They don't frighten me. And sometimes, even if you have a fear of insects, you very well have insectoid DNA. Those are just your fears you must get over because they're experiences within your psyche. Transcend it. It's very easy. Everything is easy if you so choose. The sequencing of who you are, you get to choose, dear lighted ones. Does that make sense? What is your patterns of thought? That's a sequence. What is your patterns of saying? That is a sequence. What is your patterns of behavior? That is a sequence. And it goes back to your beliefs. Who are you? What do you exist within? What exists within you? Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? What's your sequencing right now? Does it feel good? Does it feel lively and vibrant and malleable and movable? Transmutable, infinite, miraculous, that's God. Because, delighted ones, the sequencing now is different than it was when we started. Does that make sense, delighted ones? Your body feels different, your chemistry feels different, your mind feels different, it's excited, it wants to know, it wants to know. Because I'm also teaching you in those other realms. Because those other realms are aspects of you that will be ready to reach a new earth in future years. You're getting used to working with your multidimensional bodies and where you're going and where you want to be in your vibration as a clairsentient being of God. Does it make sense, delighted ones? Preparing yourself to be malleable in and out of spirit. Death or no death, it does not matter. It's just your body you put on and take off. Your consciousness is everything. It's everything. It's infinite. And why would you not want to evolve? Break out of everything that is limiting and fearful. Limiting and fearful and discriminating. It's all you. It's all you. I'm preparing you to meet you. It's you. God is you. It's all you. Get rid of the borders. Get rid of the definitions. Get rid of the names. Get rid of the things you call things. It's all you. The light is you. The dark is you. The corrupt are you. Face it. Why did you want that experience? Because you could. And you could say, no, now I choose from a higher version of now me. Now me. Now me has morals. Now me has values. Now me wants to align with the laws of one because I want to integrate with my all. I want to integrate with knowing I will not abuse my powers. I will not abuse my gifts because I honor God and God will lift me and God will give me more powers and gifts. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? God will not place you at the highest of the highest and not take you to the angelics if you're abusing your gifts in 3D. If you're abusing your gifts in 3D, you won't go to 4D or 5D. Not with your gifts, you won't. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? Why would you want a leader that we see right now in charge when they abuse their gifts? All the leaders, most often than not, in your world today have been put in their place to see how good they can be for their people. They have abused it in every way. So we're doing better this time, dear lighted ones. Who are the leaders now? Who do you choose as your leaders now? So there's no gifts that will be abused. They will not be brainwashed. They will not be tagged along and discriminated against. Everybody will be abundant. Everybody will be empowered. You're seeing what has been so that you can change what is. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? Take it a breath. Super high vibration. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Alamana Kedication, Makae, dedication, and a Karaka. Adamana Kedication, Shamakaraka, Shamakaraka, Shamakaraka. Cinnamana Kedication, Amakaraka, Anamakaraka, Anamakarades, Anamakaraka, Jamakaraka, Line, na. Woo! Felt good. Oh, that felt so good. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That felt really good. A lot of heart activations that are going on right now. Taking yourself out of really low vibrational, discriminatory. So every day, if you want a session with me to work, to kind of work out where you're at right now, what you need to work on as far as your most emergent block, because that's what Spirit shows me is what is your most emergent block right now that you're transmuting. And again, some of the really denser stuff as far as like abuse, depending, again, it all depends on your allocation, where you're going to be as far as the collective experience, your role within the collective experience, and the councils, again, that you're working with. Because they're showing me right now that we're on a multiverse classroom platform, and you're taking classes for different things. Because, again, I'll just say this because it just gets it out of the way. I have a different understanding about death, and I've brought it up in my classes. Death is not really what we think it is. I'm giving you this as an example because this is going to happen, so you don't have to freak out about it. So again, life is infinite. You're never dead. You're always constantly living. It's just in a different form. There are those that will pass away. They're just going to a different version of school. You'll always have access to them because the veils are getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And that's what part of my gifts are too, is I'm a medium. We call them different things in 3D, but it's not. We're going to get used to having everything as being clairsentience. Because again, 3D, we separated things. I hear God, clairaudience. We're speak God, all those things. No, everybody has the clairsentience of all-knowing God. If you so choose, you have to choose that. It has nothing to do with religion. Just because an anti-Semite or an atheist, God is still in those beings, of those beings in all life. They just chosen that veil of illusion. So again, release everything to do with definitions. It means nothing. It's just an experience that one chose. That's it. God is still in those that choose not to believe in God. It makes their transition at death a little bit more challenging. Because at death, that is when we return to source. We return to the almighty light. We return back to whence we came. That is the process of death. Then you go back into a 3-day review of your soul. The 3-day soul review is who were you, what did you experience, and what was within you to express. That's all the soul wants to experience. Experience, exploration, and expression. That's what the soul cares about. Are you learning compassion? Are you learning how to express care? Are you learning how to express your truth? Are you learning to explore new things? Are you learning to be a new experience of you and God? Are you learning to share your new experience with God? That's what the soul cares about. And yes, you're going to have certain challenges because it all has to do with your soul blueprint and your DNA allocation. It's going to be huge this next coming year. I'll talk about it in my classes because it's very complex. Those aspects of your soul's 3-day review is another aspect of school in which it's only you, your highest of highest guides, and the Akashic councils a step back. They're kind of like in an auditorium, and it's you in the room with you and God and your highest and highest of guides, your soul of oversoul of oversoul of oversoul, of where the highest level of your soul blueprint is written. That's why only you and God know your destiny, work with your destiny. Where are you at? Why are you being tested in your spiritual gifts? Everything is spiritual. You're here for a spiritual journey. So that 3-day review is to review all of that. Did I practice my gifts? Was I in my full integrity? Were my values on point? Yes, I went through that lesson. I wanted to explore this. I went through that. Now I moved over here. That's what life is meant to be like. You're not meant to be in one set of beliefs forever. That's not what soul lesson is. That's only one moment. It's like a glimpse. Change, move, be malleable, offer. That's what you do at a 3-day, at your 3-day, 72-hour review, if you will. But it's sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's less, depending on what that soul went through in that lifetime. Did the soul integrate compassion? Did the soul integrate forgiveness on the many traumas that a soul experiences in one lifetime? Were they able to transcend? Were they able to get over things? Were they able to forgive? Were they able to show helpfulness? Were they able to stand in their power? Were they able not to solve everybody's problem and be a yes person, but actually stand in their power and have other people work it out? Because you want to empower people to be their own leaders. So again, it depends on what your soul's themes were and how close you were to matching those, your own goals, because it's really your goals. That soul 3-day review is a type of classroom, if you will, where the Akashic board watches over those discussions of the highest parties of your soul's blueprint. And again, it's only you and God and your oversoul, your higher self. That's it. Nobody has access to that. The karma board then takes you as the soul, and what you say you're going to carry on as karma in that next incarnational school, if you will. There's a lot more to it. It's so complex, and it won't ever be done as a yes or no. It's not black or white. It can't be. Because again, the DNA allocation, who you are, what you exist within, and what you've come here to assist with in the creational story of God's greater plan, which now is a multiverse experience. So again, that's why it can't be black or white. And it's not every soul's person on a life review is the same, and it won't be, it never will be. Because your soul experiences are different, your soul histories are different, your DNA is different. If you have a soul DNA that has very few soul lifetimes of living in compassion and pure love, you're not going to have the same soul review as somebody that's been here going into archangel status. See what I'm saying? So that's why God knows what's going on. When you're being tested with your gifts or your skills or your talents, God knows the purity of intent that you're working with to be of service. God knows it to the micro nanosecond. How pure is that heart of wanting service? Well, I chanted every day. I chanted every hour. I chanted every second. So God knows my purity of heart. That way, when I'm put forward in a test, there's a lot of leeway back and forth because I work a lot with God. The more I work with God, the more leeway I have. Because I've tested myself and I've absolutely come through on myself because they're my goals. I want to be tested. Yeah, let's do this again. Give me another example. Put somebody in front of me where I get to test this level of me again. And there's things I'm working on. I'm always working on stuff. Right? But that's where, when I was in the restaurant the other day, I could have had the opportunity to read everybody's fields, but I didn't. God was showing me, these are your new gifts. This is how it's going to look, so that when you have a client in front of you, you know how to direct your energy, because that's what a conduit does. I can direct my energy and it will change. I could have shifted the whole, which I do. I know that. When I go into a room, I shift the energy. I could have had an intentional shift of the energy in that room so that everybody was thinking within, 5 or 6 minutes of love if I wanted to. But I didn't, because I'm also a social person and I just want to go out and eat dinner. I know my gifts. I know who I am as God. My clairsentience as God, as a communicator, inner and outer, what I receive and what I give back. My teams were sending me a communication. This is how I can read energy. This is what it's going to look like in your new healing sessions, in your new classes. Where do you want to go with this? That's a touch point for me. Spirit says, okay, this is opening up for you. What are you going to do with it? If you lose it, if you misuse it, you will lose it. So I said, okay, great. Wow, that's a cool gift. Let me practice with that. Right? And then I also say too, to Spirit and my teams, bring me somebody that wants a healing, but doesn't know how to ask for it. So Spirit will always bring me those people that just want to stand next to me to get an activation, because it's on their higher self level. I know how to work with God. I know how to work with higher self. I know how to work with teams. There are those that don't care. And they abuse gifts, they abuse astrology charts, they abuse energy, they abuse people before them, they manipulate people before them. They do horrible things with energy and the mind control. So discern. Your body and your soul and your essence and your chakras are everything. And it's the same with your sexual life force energy. It's not to be taken lightly, it's very sacred. So work with your teams. That's why you have teams. Did we say anything about that, Spirit? I don't understand that. They're giving me an analogy. I don't understand the analogy. Okay. Oh, okay. I don't really understand this analogy, but it always clicks into me later. But they're saying it's like the analogy of a ball that's rolling down the hill. Actually, it's weird because I saw this on the shorts the other day. These huge rocks that just roll out of nowhere. Like the house is sitting here and this huge, 10-foot, 12-foot, 15-foot boulder rolls past their house from up the mountain. It's just like crazy. So this is what they're showing me. The ball that goes down the hill goes faster as it accelerates. So you want to make sure that your integrity, your now impression of who you are, how you want to work with your gifts, your excitement to work with your teams, that's why doing your daily path work first thing in the morning is so important. Because you're setting that tone for who you are as a Christed being, to be of service to creation, to work within the higher values and the laws of one, so that you're always returning to self really quickly. Because it's going to accelerate. And if you're already wishy-washy, not back and forth, you have no idea who you are, you're going to be thrown about, especially if you're highly sensitive and you're either highly telepathic or psychic. You want to make sure that you're working within a very pure, honored, very stable sense of self. If you don't have a good sense of self, you need to just start working on it right away. Who are you? What's your now impression of you? You have gifts, so start working on them. Take one gift a week and work on it with intention. I'm going to work with these gifts this week. Give me an experience where I can, know my gifts, whether they're audible, sensory, visual. Like when I say, when I'm a conduit and I have... like when I'm in my classes and I'm explaining what I'm explaining, there's no 3D words that I explain what I see and feel. I just do the best I can. My interfacing with God is at a multiverse experience, and it's very fun and it's very incredible for me, because I like variations. I don't like conformity. I try not to be as normal as possible because it's boring, and there's so much to see and experience because I enjoy the multiverse. So they were showing me when I'm talking about words and the visions that I'm seeing, the visions of three, and this is where we're going to be stepping away from 3D, because again, our ascension exploration, how we express, explore, and experience ourselves is going to be 5D. Everything in our ascension wisdoms are going to be rewritten to a higher vibrational assimilation. When I'm saying that I'm seeing something, it is not through my third eye. It is through my multidimensional systems of my imprint of God. So there's various things on why and how I get. That's why I practice with God, my gifts, because there's ways that God will just show me. And sometimes I don't even ask it. They just show it to me, because I'm moving more and more with acceptance and the fullness of all of my gifts of me. The more accepting I am of me, the more allowing I am of me, I'm going to be getting gifts all over the place. So again, it's like they said, it's going to be like a boulder rolling down the hill. Your gifts are going to turn on and you're going to be very psychic very quickly, because we're going to go through a big adjustment in the next 30 to 60 days for the sifting out of those timelines that are not vibrationally matching. So those psychic gifts will be awakening, and you have to know, again, your daily practices. What are you doing to harmonize those acceleration of gifts and your bodies? And are you prepared to begin working with it in alignment with the laws of one and your teams? Because if you don't have those practices down, it will be like the boulder rolling down the hill. You will feel very scattered. You're going to get hits and you're going to get all this information on the downloads. You're not going to know how to process the downloads. Like when I said, because they were showing me that crystalline template with all the balls, I'm going to unpack that. That's part of my processing and integrating, which I wrote about in my books. Ascension is a process. There's lots of fun packages that I just got downloaded in this one free offering, but I'm going to go back later and I'm going to unpack it and I'm going to journal it, because that's how I integrate what they just showed me. Because what they just showed me about that metaphor and the analogy of the boulder rolling down the hill, that's a multidimensional analogy, and it's going to mean something different to each and every one of you. That's an unpacking. That's a multidimensional unpacking. You can then go away after this live is over with, and you can sit down with your journal and unpack what it means for you. That's being multidimensional. Because that analogy might mean something for you today here, but tomorrow you might be more of an energy here, and you're going to need to unpack it for what that means to you, because maybe overnight you had a dream and you want to simulate that. You want to be in more synthesis with that higher version of you. And they're saying that as also in part and parcel when I'm also explaining to you about how I see God, my interfacing with God, because each and every one of you, again, we're going back to the clairsentience. Everybody is clairsentient. It just depends on what part of that clairsentiency do you want to focus, direct, and intend to practice with. So for me, when I say my imprint of God, when I see things, I'm not seeing it with my third eye. I'm not seeing it with my eyes. It's just how I interface with God as God speaks with me, through me. And I just see things. I only say I see things because when they showed me the analogy, my eyes were open, but I was seeing it in my third eye. When they were showing me the classroom, where everybody was on the classroom in another dimension, another planet, that was the imprint of God. Those are just my multidimensional interface, and where God says, here you are. And it shows me, it's just like opening the curtains. That's what that feels like. It's an imprint. Okay, I'm not seeing it with my eyes. It's just what my sentiency, my allness sees, because it's a multidimensional experience. I don't know if that makes sense. So it is impossible to put these things into words because it's not. Does that make sense? When I'm talking to the insectoids, I'm not seeing it with my third eye. Because they're a part of me, my DNA, the interfacing with my DNA, the interfacing with my fields, the interfacing with my sentiency, the more light you are, remember, the more light you are, your sentiency will be different, because you're carrying a sheath of new information, of coding, your light body coding. That light body, like I've just leveled up into I've taken, I've noticed it really the last 3 days. Have been super crazy. That sheath of light that is placed over the physical matter, so that it becomes a symbiosis, becomes a new language, synthesis. Is there another word for it, Spirit? Osmosis. Again, it's going to be more and more scientific from here on out. The synthesis and osmosis between the light sheath of you, that higher light body fragment, this right here. This light body aspect of you that comes onto your field. God says your higher selves, because remember, you're cascading, right? Your oversoul, all your guides, all your teams, the 7th dimensional version of you, and your 7th dimensional version of you can have infinite 7th dimensional aspects. Your 8th dimensional version of you can have infinite 8th dimensional aspects. 9th dimensional all the way up to the 12th, 13th dimension. We're going higher and higher and higher. Now, because I've gone up to a new level of knowingness for myself, clearing away the density, that sheath that got placed over me, because all of my other higher aspects got moved up, so too does this earthly aspect of me get moved up. That's why nobody can put a delay on where anybody is meant to be, because you have a cascading soul that pulls you up as they get pulled up, and they're not going to be held back because of selfish groups of people on earth that don't want any divine feminines come forward and be who they are. Because that was a lot of the targeting. Because they know how powerful divine feminine are as healers, and it's what the planet needs. And they didn't want the planet to have what the planet needed, which is high vibrating divine feminine healers and leaders. So a lot of the divine feminines were targeted. But that's where what we teach is so important. Know who your now impression is. Return to your sense of self. Because you're going to be tested. You're going to get targeted. But you have to know to stand in your power and say, no, these are my gifts and skills and I'm meant to use them. And you be who you are. This is who I am. Again, I'm preparing you to meet your 8th dimensional insectoid, your 7th dimensional insectoid. I'm teaching you to meet your 5th dimensional feline. Okay, they have a whole set of different beliefs than you do. Does that make them not you? No, it's still you. It's just like that room in the corner of the house. That's still you. You can go into that corner of the room if you want. It might be a very dark version of you, but you can still go in there and face it. It's all you. The more you integrate that and be okay with that, yeah, that's a part of me. You integrate the dark, it becomes greater light because you've accepted it. You said, okay, that was a dark moment. Ooh, okay, let's harmonize that. That's why you get tested. Because you don't want to be acting out in darkness all the time because it affects everybody. That's why those beings will be sifted out. Because they've been given many opportunities and they keep behaving in their darkness and they choose not to change or heal. Everybody's given choices every moment. Everybody has the same access to source, to God. Everybody does. But it's up to each person to go within and seek God, like they said to me in my last video. Those people and those groups and those beings, because they have disregarded and they have spit on what God breathed, what happens when you reject what God breaths? God breathed you. Will you reject and spit on God? Those that choose to do that will be sifted out because they can't learn God. They can't learn about God from me anymore. They're going to be sent away. I was an offering to the collective, to the multiverse, to learn about God, of being God, of expressing God, of exploring God. And it has nothing to do with our 3D experiences. That's just a moment in time. We're moving on now, people. The churches, we're moving on now, churches. Still have your churches, but now you can pray in multidimensional ways. Now you can know everybody as being God and get rid of the definitions. Get rid of the limiting practices and seeing anybody as a controller or a beer of all things. Because they're not, everybody is. And there's some people that just don't want to let go of control, power, and greed. But they will. They absolutely will. Whether they want to or not, they will be flipped upside down. They wanted to learn karma the hard way. That's okay. Let God do God's work. God, that's God's thing. God knows what the plan is. God knows who's where. God knows how much density somebody's worked through, and there's no judgment on it. There's just time, enough is enough. The corrupt leaders, the false leaders, everybody that's had enough time to alter course. Enough is enough. It's over. This is judgment time. The boomerang effect begins now. What was put out is returning. And that's why, again, are you aligning with your now impression to the highest universal laws? Who are you? What do you exist within? And what exists within you? Can you have the right use of free will with everybody in your life and non-interference? And can you also command that of others to you? Right? If somebody's fucking in your lane, if somebody's fucking in your field, in your consciousness, that's the abuse. That's the abuse of the right use of free will. So you need to set those boundaries. You need to set very strong boundaries. You need to set strong rules of self-engagement, of the engagement that you have with these people. Set very strong boundaries. State your rules of engagement. And, you know, there's no 3 chances. No, these are my rules of engagement, or don't return. You won't return. As many people were given those offerings. Right? My time won't be wasted. I will be optimized. And so there's a new set of archangels. They're called the Clarion Archangels. They're going to help us work with our new gifts and skills with our communication, because we're now all becoming more and more clairsentients. We're all one with God, communicators with God. Each of us will have different gifts, skills, and talents, again, based on your DNA allocation. Because remember, every new version of your ascension, you're going to be tapping into a different set of, well, not always, because sometimes DNA we'll talk about it in my class. The DNA allocation will be specific and more potent, more prominent, based on if you're at an accelerated light phase of your ascension. Because many of us have gone through a whole lot of dark stuff, there'll be many of us now, especially those that I've been working with for a long, long time, who will be stepping into a light phase of their ascension, which means that they get to play a lot more and they will become more lighter. When they do have a shadow aspect or a soul fragment to harmonize, it's going to be a lot quicker and a lot less traumatic, because we've done all the heavy lifting. Now it's just kind of gravy from here on out, if you will. You'll still have challenges, yes, of course, and you'll still be tested on the right use of free will, non-interference, as well as the law of balance. That's what they said to me earlier with all those balls in that crystalline sheath. What came into play right there, which I am going to unpack later, is the my acknowledgement and my recognition and my celebration, my pride in myself for the balance. Because I had to, with all the targeting and the attacks daily and the relentless attacking and people harvesting off my light and all that bullshit, it took great profundity for me to survive. I would not have, most normal people wouldn't have survived what I came through. And then also to attain balance, which very few people that can say on the planet right now that they're balanced. And again, as they said, that's like a boulder going down the hill. We will accelerate. So everybody must go inside and work with their teams into a fashion and a way that they can feel happy, joyful, loved, balanced? Are they being nourished? The purposefulness, as we said in our earlier videos, all of our videos are culminating one onto the other. And so why it's important that you set those standards for yourself. If you're not being nourished, if you're not being balanced, if other people around you are throwing you off, if other people around you are bringing chaos, if other people around you are bringing drama, you need to, between now and the end of the year, make sure that you're clearing that out, because your teams have probably already been giving you clues and direction. Because again, you can't sit on both sides of the fence and wait for people. Treating people with basic human respect is a basic human courtesy. It's not something that's rocket science. Again, those people that have done such, because you have to also understand too, and you can let go and have compassion, these people are also dealing with non-soul fragment harmonizations. They're working within a very dense mental pattern, and they're also working, some, most often than not, if they're in abusive experiences and they treat you abusively and they're not honoring your rights of free will, most often than not, they do have entity or energetic attachments, because they're working with spell work. Their spell work is returning, it's backfiring. They're working with people that do spell work, mind brainwashing, mental, all that crap. I mean, it's just retardation of the mental field, and the mental field needs to be opened up, broken up, and then reharmonized into the new now version, now impression. So just know that people act out and behave in the way they are is because they're not harmonized, they're not balanced. So see beyond the wounding. So your gifts and impressions. So what else did you say? The ancestors are going to be assisting you with the Clarion angels. They're a new series of angels working with the hierarchies of the Archangel Michael, Archangel Sandalphon, and Archangel Uriel, combining the gifts that are open to you now and those that have been accelerated and felt the acceleration into new versions of a higher vibrational reality. Remember, the inner, the outer is above, so below. If you don't have an above, you don't have a below, and you'll be imbalanced. So again, work with what we've taught all these years. You're going to have a new daily tip, and that is, again, returning to your now impression. That is the now 2024 daily ascension tip. The now impression will then assist you in your clairsentience, because you have to be very grounded in yourself to be opening up to these higher psychic, alien, celestial, archangel gifts, right? Just like I just gave you that experience of the restaurant. Somebody that wasn't practiced in working with your teams and guides about your new opening gifts would have thought, what the hell's going on? Then there would have been those that would have abused those gifts and harvested that energy. So again, from any level of the spectrum, people can use or abuse it. And God, your teams, your souls, you have 3 to 6 to 10 guides, depending on what you're working on and what you're stepping into. Those guides will show you, your guides will give you tips and hints. They'll either through your dreams, through people that you're around, through the videos that you watch. Like I've been giving people warnings for 2 years. That's what the discussions have been. So those spirit guides know that because they watch my videos, that they know that they're getting those warnings. So they will be turning off those gifts, and they will be de-evolving those beings into either a death cycle or sifting them out into a different timeline. And again, what we said earlier about death, they're just going to a different, what we wanted to say about the multiverse schools. The multiverse schools is just your return back to source, what that soul needs for that time. Those are soul blueprints that we talked about. If those, in that 3-day soul review, the karma board and their higher self and their soul, the soul itself chooses the one who is in the body, that soul becomes the spirit. That spirit sees itself as the human body and all of the things that it did and it chose, why it did and it chose things. That's what the 3-day review is about. We say 3 days, but it's not that. I'm just giving that to you as an example. That spirit, because it's a spirit now, it's harmonized back to God, and its guides will show it, okay, well, I could have acted in this way. I could have made different choices, because they will only pick the most pivotal things. It will show the traumas that were created on both sides, the traumas the soul created, and the traumas that soul created to others. That person has to face that in that 3-day review. That's why some is longer and some is shorter. That 3-day review, the karma board is also present. Then as they come out of that 3-day review, only God and that higher self spirit, because now that you're transitioned from the body, you're now a spirit and you see things from a multiverse perspective. You're now in the all sense of self. That is when the karma board says, okay, we're going to take on, just like a thermometer, we're going to take on all of these fractions that didn't get worked on and accomplished, if you will, because the soul is all about soul growth. You didn't accomplish your compassion series. You didn't accomplish the abiding by the universal laws series. And these are all your own self. These are not beings and God placing this on you. You want to be able to progress in higher vibrational dimensions of co-creation. And because you don't want to be just blowing people off when you get upset, you have to work on those lower traumas so that you're a benevolency to the all. Because you want to work in higher vibrational dimensions. Higher vibrational dimensions just don't go blow people off. They don't. They're because they've worked through the wounding. They get everything. They get why people do things what they do. See beyond the behavior. They get that because you're high vibrational, you're higher intelligence. You get all that because you've worked through all the wounding. So that's what I teach you, is how to work through all the wounding. You can't get up here without working through the wounding. So in that, your teams will be showing you all of these things where, you know, you wanted to work on compassion, you wanted to work on non-judgment, you wanted to work on exploring your own gifts without feeling discriminated against. Because people like myself, because I'm here for a lot of the stuff I'm going to be practicing and helping other people, is working on their hybridization gifts, because you're multiverse beings and we have to get moving and they're very expansive. So that means we're going to be breaking conformity all over the place. And yes, that will have other people triggered, especially those in religious and dogmatic and all of the 3D staunch traditional experiences. It's okay to keep certain aspects of tradition, but we have to evolve. And those that absolutely don't want to break tradition, again, they'll be sifted out. Again, every 6 months or a year, there'll be a great sift out. Those souls that need a lot of healing because they don't want to move beyond their staunch boxes. So there's always a reason. God knows what God's doing. Just leave it to God. You don't have to fear or worry about it. Everybody will be sifted out. And that's what they showed me. They showed me the word sifted, like the sifter. The sifter will let those energies go, those balls go that are just too dense to move on to that next level of ascension. It's all perfect divine timing. God knows what God's doing. Everybody's been given that is interested in evolving themselves. They're given infinite opportunities to seek, to wonder, to explore, to express, to experience. And people like me assist you in the process of that and to accelerate, enhance it, and move in a more high vibrational state of self-acceptance. And then again, you're working towards always exploring those higher realms of experience as your beingness of God. So you're going to be giving yourselves those tests. Right? You're going to want to know that whatever is before you, you know how to realign to that now impression quickly as possible. Because again, we're going to be accelerating. It's like that ball rolling down the hill. You need to know how to align back to self as soon as possible. What is your story? If you don't know what your story is, you're going to be swayed in various ways where other people that know how to use mind control, that know how to use programs of manipulation, they'll be using them, and they have been. And those are going to be those energies that will be pulled out. Because again, the light is so intense, those programs have to come up. That darkness cannot sit in the light that we're bathing it in. And so in the hierarchies, we will be working with many of you and many of the important shifts that are coming for humanity, for the integration of light and the understanding of your light body with the integration of light, as I showed you earlier, that sheath. I've had a new sheath of light put on my light, on my consciousness. They're calling it consciousness. I would have said something different, but they said consciousness, which makes sense. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And so that sheath and my consciousness allows me to interface differently. So I'm practicing that new interfacing. So I'm very grateful. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And they're also wanting me to get out there and press myself out there in different ways. So I'm going to be doing many different things to practice my gifts, use my gifts in different ways. And that's why I'm going to be offering different sessions, whether it's mediumship or it depends on, I have all those capabilities. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably talk about that in class. They're showing me something different. So our light body, how your integration and the light body will be open to activate. Again, new clairsentience, the gifts that can transcend, again, we talked about it, they're going to transcend the 3D understandings. So again, go beyond the clear sight, clear hearing, clear knowing. It's because everything is just clear sense. Your oneness with God, how you are going to express it, and then ask your teams to test you to ensure that you're going to be in alignment to opening greater and greater gifts. So God's opened those greater gifts to me because I didn't use my gifts in malevolence the last cycle, right? Every new cycle, you're going to be tested, because your gifts are going to give you greater power. And God wants to make sure that you're going to not abuse those gifts. Also, too, and the other side of it, God wants to make, because the universe is all about optimization and efficiency, right? The universe is not going to pour all this light and all these gifts on you if you're not going to use them and have fun using them, right? I'm here to empower and inspire people to be as eclectic and diverse and multiversal as possible. I'm here to awaken everybody that their DNA is encapsulation of all multiverse. We're no longer going to define ourselves small. We're no longer going to be okay with conformity. We're no longer going to be okay calling ourselves one thing or one acceptance of one people's. No, everything is all, everything is diverse, everything is God. Start there. So that is my soul blueprint. That's my passion. No, everybody is unique. Everybody is diverse. Everybody is equal and fair. And all of us have gifts of God. So we can see ourselves, yes, all alien. Yes, we are all celestial. Yes, we are all galactic. Yes, we are all multiverse. Yes, we are all alien and gray and diverse aspects of insectoid and diverse aspects of lyran and diverse aspects of whatever we want to call ourselves. Humanoid. Doesn't matter. We're all. Start there. So once you get that, then it's quite easy to go beyond a 3D staunch dogma of religion. Because it's really a very small packet. Really, you've got so much to explore of yourself. Why stay in a small packet, right? You're breaking the boxes. You're going beyond the boxes. And so again, this new phase, again, because everybody's experiencing a different earth based on where their integration of light is right now. So again, everything we offer, go back and unpack it, do your path work. So they're showing me that this new phase that we're moving in, because as you're moving through space, the version of you, this multidimensional vessel of you moving through space, you're going to have the consciousness equality of where you're moving into. Again, it's all symbiosis. It's all perfect harmonization. Why working with your teams, you will know when your teams are working on your prefrontal cortex, when your teams are working on your light body, when your teams are working on your cells, you have to be a commander in it. Are you feeding it? Are you nourishing it? Are you in a touch with it? Are you companionship of it? Are you keeping up with, if you want to? You don't have to. I like to because I want to know what's going on, right? I'm a conduit. I want to feel everything. I'm here because I want to feel everything. And when I feel everything, I'm a better healer. I'm a better teacher. I can move in and out of fields. I can move in and out of dimension. I want that. That's my gifts. I'm here to be my fullest expansive version of me. And God's allowing that for me because that's my birthright. It's my birthright to be fully me. Being human is, we're going to be multiverse humans, right? So whatever you want to place on it that allows you that freedom, then do so. That's also going to allow us, when we become multiversal and we become happy, they're saying, you also get to, as I've experienced in the last 6 months, is going back and forth to timelines to correct things that was important for your soul's growth. Everything is about your soul's growth. And again, those that play with going back and forth in time and play with timelines and play with destiny charts and all that kind of shit, those that have done that will be sifted out because it's abuse. They do it for their selfish gain. They do it to control. They do it to dominate outcome. And they do it to dominate narrative. Those beings and agendas of the elite programs that were doing human testing, they will be sifted out and all are being called judgment. That is what they go through that 3-day review. The Akashic board will say how much was worked through in your thermometer, how much was worked through so that you can move back when you go back to source. What level of dimension are you able to transition back into? And that's why we said in our video, it's very important at this time because you're not going to have infinite timelines of 3D for you to experience. 3D is wafting away and be no more. It will be 5D now. So that's why it's really important that you go through the soul lessons and take it with great honor and respect and great importance. The stuff, the power, the title, the superficiality bullshit doesn't matter to your soul. That's why that everybody will have to go through ascension and they will be humbled. If people did not take honor and respect for all the things they had, the health they had, the bodies they had, the healthiness inside their body, because that's God, the people that were around them, if there was no appreciation for anything, that's the value of the soul. That's what the soul holds value in. Do you honor God? Do you honor God mentally? Do you honor God physically? Do you honor God spiritually? Do you honor God sexually? Do you honor God metaphysically? All that is God. Do you honor it? Yes or no? Do you play the fence? Yes or no? You can't play both sides anymore because 3D is wafting away. Your soul growth is so important because if you do not go through those lessons and honor all as God, you're not going to have an infinite number of opportunities to come back in 3D to learn those very important soul lessons. That's what 3D is about. It's working through that 51% of your karma. No, I honor myself. What I put out comes back to me. Treat others as you want to be treated. That's the thing of oneness. That's honoring of oneness. Right? We're meant to evolve. And always allow to know that if you stay in your lane, God will reward you. If you're fucking with other people's stuff in life, you're not going to get rewarded. You want to conjure and you want to sacrifice to lower vibrational deities, you will stay in a low vibrational 3D. You're not working on your soul's gifts. You're not working on your soul's lessons. You will not evolve. You will not go past any other point, which then de-evolves the species in and of itself, because your DNA, your evolution is directly related to what your kids are going to be expanding within. That's why you contract with your children and they contract with you, so that you can play those roles for each other to allow each other to be their highest and their best. Am I aligned with this now impression of me in my highest and my best? Am I allowing my children to explore? Am I allowing my children to express? Am I allowing my children to experience their version of who they are? To empower, to inspire, to encourage. The 3 E's. Then you know you're a great parent. Yes. Wow, I'm a great parent today. I'm keeping up with a 5D parenting. I don't want to create worrisome timelines with them. I don't want to create karmic timelines with them. I'm going to clear my karma. No, I'm going to empower you. I'm going to inspire you. I'm going to encourage you. Stand in your truth. Speak your truth. Have respect for your body. Don't let anybody touch you. Your light is your light. Nobody touches you. Not in dream time, not in any outside social time. Nobody in your house has those mind-fucking experiences where they're trying to make you feel guilty, useless, and worthless, and they're more powerful than you. No. Take ownership of your mind. Take ownership of your body. Take ownership of your consciousness. That is what we should be teaching everybody as soon as they can walk. No, you're a multiverse being. You have chakras. You have fields. You're an infinite being of God. How may you express, explore, and create yourself today? You're infinite. Let's get busy. Giddy up. We're high vibrational beings here. Let's get up. Get up, get up, get up, get up. We've got stuff to do. Things to explore. People to see. Things to be. Things to explore. Things to be. Things to express. Things to be. Things to experience. Lots, lots, lots. Let's get on with it. Enough with the pettiness. Enough with the immaturity. Everybody is responsible for growing the fuck up. You're a multiverse being. You are a universal being. You are a universal expression. You're a dynamic version of God. You cannot play both sides. The sifting out is occurring now. Judgment is being called on everybody. You're meant to learn your lesson of darkness, accept it and honor it, transmute it, choose a new version of you, and then express and explore and create. That's ascension. And if you choose not to be a part of it, if you choose not to care, if you choose not to care about your beingness affecting everybody in creation, if you don't care about that, you won't ascend. You won't. God will not give you gifts. God will not bless you. God will not, your teams, your guides, whatever you want to call God in and of itself. Creation. Remember, creation is sending you. Creation is that ball rolling down the hill. If you put all that crap up the hill, absolutely bet it's going to come falling back at you. That's creational reality. You're responsible for it all. And if you haven't done the work on that 51%, you're not going to move to that next phase. You won't. You won't go to a 5D body if you have not worked through your 3D stuff. You got to work through the 3D stuff. Nobody gets by. That's why the sifting out has to be, because God knows everybody's souls, everybody's hearts. God knows every single transaction, every single vibrational transaction. Thought, word, and deed is a vibrational transaction. You as a multiverse being, that is what you're responsible for. Thought, word, and deed. That is karma, good, bad, or neutral. When you're sitting in your presence of being neutral, honoring all life is God, without discrimination, all life is God, that is you as a vibrational being. God knows every single aspect of you. And God will determine there's just no way that we can transcend, because there's just so much density. The wounding has not been worked through. There's not an ounce of light that was allowed to get through. And the sifting out has to occur, because God will not allow a small group of dark entities to hold up the entire multiverse ascension ride for everybody. Those souls will be reintegrated back to source. They'll go through a 3 or 4 day process. We say 3 or 4 days. It's all malleable because it's just multidimensional. They will then have their karma board say, okay, well, this karma did not get worked through. Then that karma may or may not. It's all dependent. We can't say yes or no. It's not a white or black thing because it's God. Because again, it depends on what other timelines were created. How many timelines did they have to work through 1 or 2 issues? Let's say control and dominance. Those are very important things. If you cannot let go of control and dominance, which is about fear and safety, you will have, there's just a lot of karma there. And depending on what thought, word, and deed was done to maintain control and dominance over yourself and others, what harm was done over yourself and others, the damage that was done over yourself and others, that is all what the karma board and God and you dictate in those 3-day reviews experiences. It's a very complex process. That's why nobody has the right to fuck with anybody else's life. And why would you? When you know that much is at stake. Your future timelines of anything that you're able to renegotiate back into. When you turn in another class, if you will have to go to the same dense classes because the light just could not get into what it needed to. You allowed other people's stories to be your story. You didn't have the power to stand in your own will. Thy will be done is the number 1 law, free will. No other being plays greater will than you. No, God's will is thy will. Anybody that wants to play God, they will be shown. You'll be humbled very quickly. And we've been showing you that for 2 years. God gave so much grace to everybody. There's no more grace left. You can't play both sides. Do you want to be the fullest version of you in love? Yes or no? Do you want to explore yourself as love? Yes or no? Has nothing to do with anyone. Your life should never have anything else to do with anyone. This is your soul's journey. This is your soul's experience. Do you want to express yourself as love? Yes or no? And there's infinite ways to express yourself as love. Do you want to experience yourself as love? Yes or no? Do you want to know that anything before you can be made and created through love? Yes or no? Do you want to know that you can be eternal life? Yes or no? Do you know that you can return into source and manifest yourself new every day? Yes or no? Do you know that you can create absolute 100% youthfulness and health? Yes or no? Do you want to keep playing in darkness? Yes or no? There will always be dark for you to face, for you to integrate and accept. But you don't have to stay there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, an entire day, and make your energy vibration affecting the all. That is the law of oneness. You can entrain yourself into higher vibrational energies when you're loving yourself, healing yourself, and forgiving yourself. That's ascension. And there are very important times that we're sitting in right now. Judgment is being seen across our entire planet. And God will be removing what needs to be removed, moving out what needs to be moved out. And when you wake up one day and it's just a different day, celebrate it. Thank God. Get connected and get intimate with God. Because that's the most important thing. You're here because of God. God breathed you. And God was showing everybody for years and years and years, as they did with Jesus. God can only place so many masters on the planet before we just said, okay, what's going on? You keep destroying these beautiful masters that come forward to you because you want to keep playing in dominance and control. Discrimination. Jesus was killed because of discrimination, and he chose to raise his own frequency and raise up within ascension. That's what he showed everybody. They didn't take his body, he took his body. That's the Christ consciousness. He could transmute himself into anything in all ways. That's what I come to offer. I come to teach. That's why I survived what I did. I just came back to life. God remade me. What we say is truth. Do you want to know these truths or not? Do you want to practice these truths or not? Does your soul have importance to you? Does the value of who you are have importance to you? Doesn't matter whether anybody outside of you sees value. Nobody outside of me saw value in me. Very few, except for my loyal clients that continue to follow me over the years, that truly do love me, because I feel your love, and you send me prayers and you send me your donations when you can, and I love you right back, and I send Archangel Michael to hover over you and bless you and be light with you. But those that are intimate in my life, those that have been intimate in my life, they never saw value in me. And they did everything in their power to break me and derail me, and to put me down, and to slam me, and to do what all those negative, toxic, dark things are. Do spell work on me, confuse me, make me not stand up for myself, make me not stand up for the truth that I know is true. When I see something that God gives me, I say it and I speak it. Because I'm a seer, I'm a speaker of light, I have orator gifts. I can say anything that God wants me to say and I will say it. That's God's truth. I don't give a crap who people believe. I don't give a fuck. I know what I see, I know what I sense, and I know energy. I've been here before. How many masters are going to be placed on this planet before everybody wakes up? Get connected with your heart. Get connected with who you are as God. The games are over. Time's up on all the fence sitting on playing with darkness. Because the darkness will have its day and you're going to have to repay that darkness. And it will be with your sacrificing. There's no need to sacrifice. You chose to sacrifice, therefore you will be sacrificed. Because you chose that. That's your sacrifice. You chose that. You chose to think that you could sacrifice other people's lives. Okay, then God's going to take that back on you. However God chooses, God is the only one that distributes karma. God is the only one that distributes karma. I have gifts. I tell God what I'm okay with, what I'm not okay with. God and the ancestors then send it back as karma. Because it has to. I have my birthright because I know who I am. My now impression of me is now. No, I'm not going to be fucked with. I have my right to be here and I have my right to be my very best. Period. That's what I offer all children. That's what I offer everybody before me. Don't play small, get up. You're profound. Don't play small. Your story matters. You're here. You're God. Nobody has right to play God over you. And if they think they do, sever the cords and walk away because there's no more playing both sides. Those that mess with spell work when they have no permission, the spell work just clogs and degrades your brain. It makes your fields a mess. It sends it back immediately. The boomerang is in effect right now. Anything you put out comes back to you. And those of us that have gifts, those of us that have seen the damage, those of us that can see things on the earthly template, God gives us those graces and God gives us that power to say, no, that's not fair. I call judgment. That's my role here. I walk with Anubis. I walk with God. I walk with the heavens. I walk with the angels. I have that right. I've earned it. I've had many lifetimes of fuckery, so that I could practice using my gifts and goodwill, using my gifts for the greater good. I speak on behalf of the greater good. I'm tired of the children being abused. I'm tired of women being abused. I'm tired of women being erased. I'm tired of the dominance. I'm tired of the bullshit. No more. I'm tired of corrupt leaders. I'm calling it, and I'm going to keep calling it. That is my gift. That is why I'm here. You want to help make a planet better? You want to help heal the people? You want to help heal the land? Then start talking about it, leaders. I have never heard a leader say, let's heal our people. Why aren't the leaders saying the first thing that comes out of their mouth every day, how can I help heal the people? Discern, dear lighted ones, anybody before you, what do they speak of? And you got to tap into the energy of the person standing before you, because there's a lot of false pastors out there that speak from the Bible and they memorize stuff, but they have no connection with God whatsoever. And I'm calling you out. God is a feeling, is a sensation, is all life. It's biochemical, it's biophysical, it's everything that is science, that is love of creation. I've earned my status in the heavens. I've earned it. And I don't have to validate it to or from anybody. I have great gifts, I'm going to practice it. And I don't deserve to be treated like crap. I was brought here as a master, just like Jesus. And I barely made it through. My teams told me that I died 4 times and I came back. God rebuilt me. Whether it was a second that I died or 10 seconds or 50 seconds or overnight, they had to bring me back. Because I'm one of the few on this planet that has the interfacing that I do to help people with ascension. Do you want to heal? Do you want to know yourself as God? Yes or no? Do you want to know yourself as love? Yes or no? Do you want to experience love in the most intimate, profound, miraculous ways? Yes or no? Do you want to integrate with your celestial families? Do you want to integrate with your alien families? Do you want to traverse the galaxy and know yourself as infinite? Yes or no? Do you want to know yourself as 5D? Yes or no? Do you want to heal your traumas from 3D? Yes or no? Do you want to know yourself as profound in expression? Yes or no? They're very basic questions. Who are you? Do you treat all life with respect and value? Yes or no? These are basic ascension questions. Are you ready for the Ascension ride? Do you love your body? Do you want to heal your body? Do you want to heal your mind? Do you want to be telepathic? Do you want to be psychic and help people heal? Not because you want to get stuff. Not because you want to force someone to be in your story when they told you they don't want to be in your story. Not because you want to be controller and leader of things and you want to have the most arms races and you want to have the most powerful nuclear weapons. No, because you want to help people and you want to see the people healed and you want to see the people happy. You want to see the people living in their highest expression. Because if you're someone that says, no, I want all of my people to be depressed, sad, and lonely because I want to feel good about myself, then you need a lot of deep healing. That's sociopathic. Because you have a lot of wounding, you did not heal, and you're not integrated. So therefore, you go out and you look to project to others, you look to harm to others, you look to take from others to make yourself feel good because you're wounded. I'm calling you on it. Go get healed. Seek out healing because you have inner child wounding, you have soul healing, you have soul fragments that have not been integrated, and you sit in that wounding, and you sit in that psychosis of harming others. And you don't have to. You've chosen not to heal. Now you can choose to heal or not. Those that choose to sit in hate and to harm others and to continue to sit in their darkness will be sifted out. And they will go through that 3-day process, which I told you about. And their karma will still be what it was because they didn't work through it. They couldn't face their darkness. You got to face it. You got to integrate it. Wow, okay, that was a dark moment. Let's work out that. Why did I feel I had to do that? Why did I feel I had to choose that? Why didn't I stand in my power and speak my truth when I had that chance? When you're a spirit of profound power, you have to speak in your truth. Doesn't matter what other people outside of you think because they're a lower vibration. They don't understand anyways. They're not integrated. Why would you care what other people that are not integrated on a lower vibration that are nothing but misogynistics and they're sitting in their own darkness? Why would you care what they think about you? So you have to be able to return to self. My now impression is powerful. I know who I am. I'm a goddess. I love being a goddess. And I'm very powerful. I'm very intelligent. And I like speaking this way because I get to be prideful of myself. Why not? I'm not going to take on the low vibrational conformity of misogynism and have that be okay. It's not okay. Misogynism is not okay. There's wounding there. There's hate there. It's not okay. If you want to sit there, you'll be sifted out because the whole of Ascension for the multiverse is not going to be held up because people can't get over their misogyny. They don't want to look at their divine feminine aspects. They don't want to look at their divine masculine aspects. You have to look at it. Leaders that don't care about the healing of their people will not be leaders. They will be sifted and pulled out. Those that are in leadership of the arms race, they will be pulled out. The Galactic Federations told me last week, they are barbarians and their programs and their agendas will not go forward. They don't have the right. They don't have the right to put the entire humanity and all of the multiverse ascension on jeopardizing and compromise because they want to be arrogant in their gluttony for nuclear arms, in their billion-dollar exchange of money, while the people are being sifted out one by one because they're all mentally sick and ill and nobody's helping them. When they absolutely can, everything in our reality right now can be healed. I'm calling this out, people. It's a mess. That's what negative energy does. That's what control does. That's what fear does. It's a mess. And we have to face it. Who's going to heal it? Who's going to heal it? Do you think the leaders of today, Trump, do you think Trump will heal what's going on today? He's going to be called out. He's going to be going through psychosis because he's not healed. He needs healing. He's discriminatory. He needs healing. You can't sit on the fence anymore, dear lighted ones. Does this make sense? The world is shifting and changing fast. Who are you? Are you malleable? Can you open up to see yourself, to know yourself, to love yourself as God? Can you see yourself to open up and love yourself as God? Can you see yourself to open up and express yourself as God? Can you allow yourself to get in touch with God every moment, every hour, every day, because you're married to God whether you know it or not? I'm just showing it to you in a multiverse experience. I'm not showing it to you from a book of the Bible, because that's not God. You're far more, you're far greater than that. You are an alien, you are celestial, you're galactic, you're archangel. You're all things. We're not going to discriminate anymore. You're all. That is God. Yes or no? Do you choose to explore God as all? Yes or no? Crown chakra's going crazy. Do you choose to explore God in the all? Yes or no? Do you choose to think about the planet being without borders? Yes or no? Do you choose to infuse love and peace and unity into all that God and Gaia and unity of the collective is? Yes or no? These are very important questions for the integration of first contact. I'm preparing you to meet yourself as Pleiadian. I'm preparing you to meet yourself as Syrian. I'm preparing you to meet yourself as androgynous. If you have issues about the triggering of sexual preferences and hiding it underground and all of the things and the drag queen stuff that goes on underground because you're not okay with bringing it up and you're not okay with exploring yourself in there and you're doing all of these things in the underground experiences, it has to be faced. 5D is androgyny. And you can still have that beautiful counterpart experience of being feminine in your equal presentation. But you have to have that openness to explore with responsibility and respect to all before you, right use of free will and non-interference. And are you going to be in balance? Do you see what we're saying here, delighted ones? Can you be high vibrational? Can you return to the now impression? And can you see yourself within this new version of stories to know that your gifts are going to be opening up? It's going to be like a rock rolling down the hill. Can you return to the center of who you are? Can you align with the first two laws of the universal laws of one and the universal laws of your greater good, benevolence and the greater good, harm to none? Can you align with those every day throughout your day? And if you are well on your way. Welcome to 5D. And you're going to have healing. You're going to be challenging yourself. You're going to want God to test you in your gifts and your skills where you know that you've been, what they say, weakness, right? If your weakness is discrimination and judging, that's what you want God to test you on. I want to see everybody as one. I want to see everybody as my brother and sister. Please test me, Spirit. Bring me the stuff that I trigger and I challenge most. Whatever I judge most, bring it before me. I want to heal that wound. Work with God. Show God that you want to work through that wounding. Be very open with God. Say, God, I want to release this. My goodness, I want to release. I've been working on this for 8 years. Please show me I can release this. And sit in silence for half a day, just focusing on the healing of that wound. Take yourself through the minutia. Take yourself through the minutia of those experiences. Sit in silence. Do your journaling. Ask God. Ask your healing teams. Ask the archangels. Ask the beings to come in and heal that wound. To assist you in healing that wound. You are doing it through what? How do you heal a wound? I'm an alchemy master. How do you heal a wound? It's multidimensional because you're multidimensional. How do you heal your wounds? You don't go and get a synthetic drug. How do you heal your wounds as a clairsentient being of God? How do you heal a wound of envy or jealousy or gluttony or greed or dominance or fear? How do you heal that? 3 A's. First, you must acknowledge it as a part of you. That is a shadow aspect. It's there for a reason because there was a fear and there was a wounding. Acknowledge it. Write it out. Say it out loud. I acknowledge that I have this fear. I have a fear of rejection. Say it out loud. I have this fear of rejection. I choose to change that. I choose to change it now, Spirit. Body, mind, heart, spirit, and soul. This is how I transmute. This is how I work with creation. This is how I show God I'm ready because I do the work. I don't sit and I don't do spell work and I don't go into people's charts. I don't go do destiny swapping. I sit and I do the fucking work. That's why God blesses me. I'm showing you how to do the work. Do you want to do the work? Do you want to evolve? Do you want to know yourself as profound? Do you want to know your soul as intimate? Do you want to know what your gifts are? Do you want to work with different foods, with different herbs, with different beings, with different consciousness so you know that you're a vast being of light? You don't need anybody outside of you. You're God. Do you want to know this? Yes or no? Then you go to acceptance. I accept myself as a multiverse being. I can accept that I had a fear of rejection. I accept that as a part of me. I'm going to accept that now, Spirit. And then you do your alchemy. I'm accepting because I've acknowledged myself as having a shadow and it served me. It showed me that I can go through this. I can work with that. I can actually pick up the phone and I can actually say sorry to the person that I acted out in envy over. And I can say, no, I want to change that. Can you help me practice working through my issues with envy? Can you work with me on this? I really want to move beyond this experience of envy. I'm going to be open with you. I'm going to be vulnerable with you. Can you work with me on this envy experience? Go to a counselor, talk about the same things. I want to work with this issue on envy because I'm feeling I'm not enough. I'm feeling like I'm always judged. I feel like, and that's dogmatic practice because you always have to be something to be better. You always have to be something to be accepted. You always have to do this, this, and this, and this, and this before you have to be accepted. Got to go through your rituals of acceptance. No, you don't. You're always accepted, period. Can you go there first? That's called religious trauma, dogmatic trauma. Because you thought you had to be something to be accepted. You thought you had to be something to get a reward. You thought you had to do something to get good marks in school. No, you're already accepted. You're already a genius. Start there. I'm already training you. I'm in training you how to be higher vibrational. That's what envy is, because you're not enough. You have a lack of self. You have a lack of sense of self. You don't have a sense of self. So go there. Go directly to that wound. Go there. That's how you become a master. Go there. That's how come I know what I know. That's how come I know who I am. That's how come I can be a malleable people. That's how I know I can go from here to here to here to here. I know this. I know energy. I know how to transmute it. I know how to sense it. I know how to see it. I know how to feel it. I love energy. Everything is God. So in love with God. Do you see what I'm saying? This is my passion. This is who I am. That is my sense of self. What do you want to talk about next? Let's go to that shadow. Let's talk jealousy. You acknowledge it. I accept it. And then what? You allow it to be your story. Yes, oh my God, last year it was all about healing jealousy. I had so many experiences. Let me roll off. Boom, 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 boom. All the moments that you were jealous. Own it. Accept it. Say, wow, I'm going to work on it today. That's a part of being a master. Because not only are you accepting and acknowledging, but you're going to say, you know what? I want to transmute this. I want to be better. You give yourself that love. You give yourself that compassion. You give yourself that forgiveness because you want to behave better. You want to behave in a higher version of you. Yeah, I've worked through jealousy. Go out and dance with whoever you want to. You want to be a better partner to your person. You don't want any more jealousy or envy or have to do spell work, have to do binding work, have to do all the bullshit that some people do. I don't need that. That's why you're not attractive to me anymore. I'm in a different vibration. Bye. Because you don't want to be around vibrational people that think that that's a thing. They got to have people in competition to feel important. No. Go find people that want to be in competition. I'm not going to be a side piece or a second piece or a third piece or a side dish or whatever the fuck the low vibrational discriminatory languages that they put divine feminine. No, I will not be shared. Are you kidding me? God, give me a break. I don't share myself. No, thank you. Not going to even be around people that talk like that. Like how ugly. No, I know who I am as a soul. I am a goddess. I am an empress. Don't step forward until you're healed. Bye. Right? And I'm okay with saying that. Step aside. Stop wasting my time. You don't have access to my light. You don't have access to my energy. You don't have access to sit at my table. You just don't. If you talk like that, if you act like that, if you behave like that, you will not sit at my table. Those are my boundaries. Those are my standards. Get used to it. You will not level up with me. Divine Feminine, we are here to be seen and heard. Divine Feminine, we are here to have our story a part of creation. Divine Feminine, we are here to set new standards. We are valued. We have morals. We have integrity. We have standards that we are imprinting into the soul. This is very valuable. We want our children to walk with their heads held high, never to touch thy body. When we say no, it means no the first time, not 800 times, those that are in Calgary. I don't have to say things 800 times. Those that are false elite leaders that have banned my channels. I don't have to say it 800 times. I'm calling judgment on all of you. I deserve to be seen. I deserve to be heard. I deserve my birthright. And if it's not allowed, and if you continue to play as you're doing it, Spirit is calling judgment now, boomerang. On every single one of you. I am meant to be seen and heard by the creative collective. By those that want healing, by those that want their expansiveness known, felt, and heard. I am a master. And I will live my masterful life. None have power over that. God and I write my path. So step aside. I don't play both sides. I see all sides. I speak that which God is. I have my birthright and I'm not stepping down. Get used to it. And the multiverse will converge because I have great wisdoms and I'm meant to share it. And those that want to play both sides, step aside, you will be pulled out anyways. That's creational reality. The boulder is going down the hill. You either love yourself and want to feel valued and important, which are what morals and values are, because you're going to be emanating and radiating and being that illumination to the rest of creation. Do you think a Pleiadian wants to come down and have a conversation with you if you are sitting in envy and jealousy and greed and you're doing spell work on somebody 24 hours a day because you want them in your story and they said no? Do you think Pleiadians want to sit with you and talk with you? They love you anyways. They're there sending you love, hoping you come out of that dreariness of dominance and control that you have because you're so afraid to be alone and you don't know who you are. They understand it. They see through your woundings. But I'm telling you, you will not ascend, dear lighted ones, in that energy. Get over yourself and heal. Face the wounding that has been showing itself to you in every way. We've been very blatant about the ideas here, dear lighted ones. We've been very blatant about the woundings that we see and why you do what you do. Can you face it yourself now? Can you have the 3 A's with you in every day? Can you acknowledge what you're going through as profound? Can you accept what you're going through as profound? Can you allow yourself to know what you're going through is profound and you can change at any moment? And then can you express yourself and explore yourself to be a different experience of God in every day? These are very simple things, dear lighted ones. That is called awareness. Are you aware that you are a being of light? Can you choose to evolve, yes or no? Of course you can. You can choose that. We're telling you that you can. You have permission. Always there is permission. And then what will trigger you is the belief that say you can't. Of course you can. Who's telling you you can't? And let go of everything that says you can't because you can. Again, get off the fence. Start living. Why waste any more time, dear lighted ones? We've spent eons in 3D of fear, limitation, and discrimination. Enough is enough. Bring down the borders. All is one. It matters not what church you go to. We are one. God is God. God is within everybody on this planet. God is within yourselves. God is within the trees. God is within the soils. God is God, dear lighted ones. God is not inside the church. God is all the things. Stop the definitions. Stop the discriminations. Break it down. You're a genius. Who said you weren't? Then release that which said you were. Open up the brain. Open up the pathways of communication, dear lighted ones. We're here, aren't we? I'm seeing you on all these schools of the multiverse. You're there. You're there. You're there. You're here. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? What's your now impression of you? Put down the comments in the comment field. What is your impression of you now, dear lighted ones? How has it changed since you first got on? How have you changed since you first got on? Are you a multidimensional being, yes or no? Can you experience, explore, experience yourself and express yourself as love, yes or no? Do you choose to play both sides, yes or no? Do you choose to seek and know God in different ways, yes or no? This is your soul's evolution. You are a soul. Stop living in the 3D small confinements of conformity and less than. You are a soul. You are expansive. Get on with it. And go within and love yourself every time you feel a projection of rejection, because it's just an aspect of you that's showing you, well, I might not have accepted myself fully because I don't give a shit anymore. I'm so full in love with myself, I could give a shit. That's how you know you love yourself. You love yourself so much so you let go of everybody that's judged you. Because you're okay with it. You'll find a billion more that will accept you. Why would I not be so excited to be absolutely in alignment with those that love me, those that want to hear about me, those that want to learn from me, as opposed to the few that just want to hate me and target me and put spells on me? No, I'm directing my energy to those that want to be around me and my energy. But I'm profound. I love myself so much so God places it before me. And then I'm tested to see, can I use my gifts and my skills? Am I uplifting? Am I promising? Do I encourage hope and power? I do. Do you see it, dear lighted ones? That, my friends, is being powerful in your presence of self. I am full in my presence. And I'm offering this to you as an example, the entrainment of who you are as self. Myself is full and abundant. I am rich in spirit. I am rich in spirit. I am rich in spirit. Every moment I am different. Every moment I can be. I'm in love with God because God is all things. Thank you, God. Thank you, Source Creator. I am full in myself. I have just machinated a new experience from darkness to okayness to neutrality to absolutely profundity. Boy, did I move through that darkness. It was so profound. It brought me to my knees. God picked me up again. I showed myself love. It doesn't matter what others think about you because you know that you are profound. You are a master. You've been killed many, many times and you're going to get back up and you're going to do it again. Do you see it, delighted ones? Move through the minutiae of energy. It is who you are. Stop playing small. Face it. Put all the uncomfortableness on the table and sort it out. Face the darkness. It's going to be a game of fun and joy because you're going to be moving through the minutiae more quickly, more quickly, more quickly. If you so choose, or you can sit in it for a day or two and see how you feel because your bodies and your cells will be affected. And that's okay too. You are still loved. And you have teams and guides to assist you. But never look to anything outside of you more valuable than it is within you. Because your inner is your outer, and your above is so below. And if you have no above, you will have no below. That is what is being ripped out from underneath your feet now. What is not from above is now below, and it's being shown to you. It needs to be moved. It needs to be transmuted. Because it was never built from above. Does that make sense? And the ground is not there. It's debauchery. It's barbarianism. It will be sifted out. It cannot stay in this light. We must accept it. How did we allow that to be okay? It's not okay, delighted ones. Do you have value for your body, yes or no? If you have value for your body because you know you are a temple of the Christ, then you will treat it with honor. You will eat better food. You will drink more water. You will be around happier people. You will put yourself in nature because you choose wisely, because you choose love. Yes? It's an equation. Everything is an equation, delighted ones. The boomerang is that equation. That is the boomerang equation. What you are is coming back to you. How does it look? Are you vibrant? Are you gorgeous? Are you rich in spirit? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? What are you putting out into the universe? Is it coming back to you? Have you allowed yourself to align with? Yes, you're allowing yourself to know that I treat my neighbor as myself, and I call it when I see it. I call it when I see it because I want change. I want all children to know they are safe. I want all people to be off the streets. Because I care. I care. If I'm a leader of this planet, I say, how may we heal the people? I ask this throughout the day. How may I help spirit? How may I help heal the people? How may I help the land? What can I know now? How may I be of service? That's why spirit puts me where spirit puts me. And if anybody has trouble with that, take it up with God. God can't wait for you to take it up with God. Take it up with God. I have to be who I am, and I will not waver on this. You will not take any more masters from this planet, because we have our right to be here. There are many that want to hear our teachings, and I will stay as long as God will have me. Is that clear? Thank you, because I'm meant to be here. I am a staple in these realities and these dimensions and these universes. God is. I am that I am. Hi, Shinamakarake. Hi, Namakarake, Shishianaka. Paidikation, Namakarake, Lanamakarake, Sisianamakarake, Namakarake, Nakarakate, Nana, Anaya, Mayataka. Hasianamaka, Ishishima, Lalakara. That was so amazing. Oh, that felt good. That was just going on this huge ride throughout the multiverse. That felt so good. So yes, yay! So we're going through this new enmeshment of the multiverse. So we do have a new series of archangels, and it is a branch of Archangel Michael. So Archangel Michael is kind of the overseer of this new series of archangels, and they're working specifically with helping us integrate into this new version of earth energy, earth light. And they're called the Clarion Archangels. They're helping us with information and wisdoms and how to work with it in our clairsentience bodies, hearts, minds, bodies, and souls. And so you can call upon them. You can ask for the Clarion Archangels to help you work with your guides on the gifts specifically that you want to work for in this new, because remember, we're entering a new year. What gifts do you want to offer as part of your service? Your service can be a vocation, how you want to earn money, if you will, because God wants you to be abundance in your gifts, right? I'm offering all of my gifts so that I can have return of abundance. So all of my sessions are going to be paid, equal return, because I have great gifts and wisdom nobody else teaches. And so that will be my equal return. So all of my gifts I'm going to be offering in different ways for the assistance to help humanity. And we're going to be in lots of different classes on, again, becoming fifth dimensional, working with the various beings, teams, and councils. I work with the systems of light, which is the allness of light. So it's not just one specific group of galactic aliens, if you will. There are people like, what's his name? Stephen Greer, I think his name is, and he talks a lot about aliens, but he talks about, he has a very focused discussion. I'm a vast multiverse experience of God, source creator, because it's all one. That's the intention of oneness. And so that's what I offer and I teach, because it's an activation of allness from the, again, your DNA, your soul blueprint. It taps into everything, because we're changing very, very quickly. Remember that everything is light. Everything is your movement within energy, because everything is energy, everything is light. It's just a matter of what density the light is. The more staunch, the more less movable it is, will be the more dense, right? Because the light can't get in, and you want to be malleable. You want to be flowing and moving with it, right? Are simply the resonance and response. Remember, you're a multiverse species. Think of yourself as a crystal. You are constantly sending and receiving information. So the universe is going to respond to you. If you're not clearing out your field, you're putting out emanations of scattered energy. That's why you receive scatteredness back. So we teach you how to work with your multidimensional fields, teach it to your children. That way they can manifest what they want. When you're very clear about who you are, you manifest clarity. When you're very clear about who you are and what you want, no interference to others, you manifest with great clarity. You manifest, again, so they're saying me, manifestation is going to be picking up very quickly. So again, if you want to be clear about who you are and what you're manifesting, because it's coming back quickly as it's the boulder going down the hill. So again, who are you? Just watch our videos and do your notes, because we're manifesting very quickly now. If you want to manifest a healthy body, work within your body. Work with certainty, work with clarity, work with your godliness, right? And also my emails are below. You are held within the integration of love and unity. Everything within the universe, multiverse, it's depending on your perspective, is always unified. Everything God is the love of creation. God is the love of creation. You're a micro macro of God. Do you love creation? Do you love creating in creation? Do you love exploring creation? Do you love expressing creation? Do you love experiencing creation? That is your soul's lesson. That's what your soul goes through on that 3 days when you pass over. So make the best of yourself from here out, so that you're not going to have any regrets. Yeah, I expressed myself. Boy, that was hard, but boy, I did it. I transcended that. And I did it with positivity. I did it with compassion. I did it with higher knowing. Yes, I stood in my power. This is who I want to be as a beautiful human being. I gave them room to speak who they were. I gave them the luxury of their own state of consciousness, because we're at different states of consciousness. I respected them where they were at. I offered compassion. I offered assistance. And yes, I still stood in my power so that I wasn't going to be hindered. I did the whole gamut. That's how you become a master. Practicing and negotiating energy. Everything is already unified. You've just defined it as separate. You've just perceived it as separate. And then they've placed boxes and walls and churches and definitions and words and things around it to make it seem even more different, even more discriminated against. But it's always unified. It's all unified. Everything goes back to whence it came. Everything. Everyone returns to God. The ones that have the little connection with God, the little understanding of God, and has nothing to do with religion. Because religion sometimes separates us from God and makes God, that essence of God, that vibration of God, that hum of God. When I'm put back together again, it's God. It's a hum. It's a vibration. It's a sound. It's a beingness. That godliness. That's God. God is God. If God says, speak, Joanna, speak, then I speak. If there's no one before me, I speak. And there's geeses. There's 100 geeses before me. Right there's geeses. And I speak to the geeses. God says, speak, I speak. That is my audience. And I'm happy for that. Thank you, geeses. I bow to you. There's 100 geeses right there. God says, speak, I speak. There's a reason why God says, speak. I just speak, and God puts that energy where it needs to go. I do as God says. Thank you, God. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Know yourself as always one with God. You're always unified. You're never not unified. Be unified. It's only the outside world and what you were taught, what you took on, what you chose to take on that said you weren't. But you are. You've always been unified. Always. So be more aware of those moments in which you discriminate yourself as not unified, not godly. You're always godly. Every moment you can be godly love. I'm godly love. Thank you. And that godly love is also saying, what is my part in this transaction? Because sometimes you will be shown no, move on. Let them learn about God in their other ways, because God has said no. You're going to have to find out about God in a different way, and it's going to be a little bit more harsh. If you chose to treat people in a certain way, you're going to know about God in a different way. You've been given years and years and years to respect your people that you've been in charge of leading, and you've done a very poor job. You're going to learn about God in a different way. It's not punishment. It's what that soul needed because it was so closed down. It wanted to dominate and take and steal and thieve because it was so in a lack of sense of self. Wasn't sure about who it was. It just wanted to steal and take from everybody. So God will show God in its own way that soul needs. God knows what every soul needs. That's why none distribute karma. God does. God knows what that soul needs as a reflection. Who is it to say anybody? Those that told Joanna she could not receive. Joanna is never going to receive love. Joanna is never going to receive money. Joanna is never going to be put on a pedestal. Joanna never will receive anything. We want her to feel low and lonely and ugly and discriminated against. We want her to feel as ugly as possible with no money. We want her to be on the dirt for as long as possible. That's what they said. So they did spell work for timeline after timeline. They tried to switch destinies because they wanted her to feel lonely, but they wanted all of her gifts. So isn't that a bit discriminatory, isn't it? They want to take her for all she's worth, and then they want her to sit in dirt. Because they know she's very special. They just wanted her gifts. They wanted her life, but they didn't want to work for it. They just wanted to steal it. And then God said, but you're not understanding creational reality, dear little foolish children. You cannot have the brain capacity of a 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th dimensional being if you're sitting there in darkness still doing woe is me about myself and throwing hate everywhere with your spell work. So we'll just teach you about God in a different way. We've told you this about for 2 years now, and you're not listening, foolish little children that choose to abuse energy and abuse people. So there will be things that occur in different ways because God knows how much you've been told, what are you getting through, and how much are you still projecting hate at others. God knows what you need. God knows when you're ready for a new gift because you've been adherence to the laws of one. You've been treating people with respect. You've been loving yourself in every moment. You've been focusing on the healing of the wounds. God knows the percentage of everybody's heart and where they're at in the expansiveness of their soul throughout creation. Who is it to anybody to say what anybody deserves to receive? Nobody has that right. Nobody knows the level and the amount and the dedication and the devotion that this one sitting before you has done and moved through and has accomplished. She has celestial realms and angels and guides and ancestors that are celebrating her and cheering her because they have seen what she has been through and they have been mortified at the treatment of such a master. You have no idea where she comes from, and you have all treated her like dirt. So thus then, therefore, the karma shall unfold. It is just creational reality, delighted ones. Can you accept and release all discrimination of anything standing before you to be as godliness? Yes or no? We are showing you godliness before you. Is that okay? What is triggering you? So heal it. These are great, profound soul lessons. Start here, begin here. This is just the beginning, delighted ones. We are advancing very quickly. This is your school of love. So be it. Eh? No? It's your choice. It's either way, it's your reality. You create it all. Take responsibility and accountability. Then you'll see how powerful you are. It's your reality. It's your body. It's your health. It's your oneness with God. That's all it is. Yes or no? Can you live on a planet without borders? Yes, of course you can. Can you live on a planet where you're eternally youthful? You choose that. You choose youthfulness, yes or no? Can you live on a planet where everybody is peaceful and loving and oneness, and you lift the children to be raised to honor their bodies, not sell them? Yes or no, delighted ones? When was this okay with you? How many of you can stand up today in your houses before you go to bed and stand with conviction and state your new sense of self? I challenge that to each and every one of you. How serious are you about being love? Stand in the presence of God and speak who you are to creation. This is practicing higher entrainment. Since when was a world that sold children for sex? When was that okay? And what is the wounding beneath this all? When was it okay just to see it swept under the carpet? until it got to a point where there's billions of dollars being traded back and forth, whether it be nuclear weapons or very false leaders and their barbaric little ways that they lead the people. Absolutely not. They lead money going back and forth. That's what they do. And then they do very horrible things with it. And why did this be okay for you, dear lighted ones? This is your planet. We are asking you to face what you allowed to be okay. Where are your morals? Where are your values of who you are? And don't say that it has nothing to do with you, because it does. It's your reality. It's your collective. You don't need to protest. Do not protest, for that is resistance, and you will deny it all the way. That's your soul lesson. Accept it with positivity and stand up and state with conviction in your home tonight. This is who I am, dear Holy Spirit, and these are the things that bother me, and these are the things that I choose to be a part of fixing and creating. I will send light to these experiences every day. I will send positive thoughts to it every day. And every day I will wake up to a healed planet. Every day I will wake up to people being healed. Every day I will wake up to a healthy body. Every day I will wake up to children being held safely. And their bodies will not be touched and abused. That is transmuting your collective density, dear lighted ones. And what happens when you do that? Say it out loud because you're proud. You're proud to be godly. What happens when you do this? You are speaking creation into creation. This planet will be healed. There will be no more false leaders. There will be no more taking advantage of children. There will be no more discriminating of youth or women or elders or wildlife. No, we are a planet of sacredness. Yes or no, dear lighted ones? Wake up. You choose sacredness, sacredness will choose you. If you choose love, love will choose you. This is what God is asking of you. You cannot play both sides. Do you choose love? Yes or no? Doesn't that feel better? The cells within your bodies are vibrating because you have chosen it with conviction. Yes, I choose love, dear Spirit. Dear Mother, dear Father, I choose love. Say it with conviction. I choose love. My cells are changed in this moment. I choose love. My brain is choosing love in this moment. I'm wiping away the calcium. My synapses are growing. I'm creating new higher brain thought. I'm harmonizing with the brain of God. And say it one more time. I choose love with conviction, dear Holy Master. Please show me the way to greater love within and without, as above, so below. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. Hayoke doshai, oke doshai, oke doshai, amma ateke sheata. Maitekeya. Daishe manaka. Daishe shesha. Apate shesha. We say this with great passion, dear lighted ones. We thank you for joining us in this sermon of oneness. Place your hand over your hearts if you so desire. Take a deep breath. I am a part of this universal oneness. I am along for this ride and I can't wait. I love myself so much so. Whatever comes forward will come forward and I will accept it. I will acknowledge it and I will allow it to be what it is. For I am love and I just allow all to be. Live and let live. Live and let live. I release all judgment. I release all discrimination. I am oneness with the Holy Spirit. I am oneness with the Holy Spirit. I am oneness with the Holy Spirit. I will practice my new gifts in awe. I will practice my new gifts of who I am with God. I will practice my new gifts as being a clairsentience being that I can see and send and receive information with God because I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. What a glorious ride I am. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I am that I am. I will treat my mind, my body, my heart, and my soul, and all of my sexual energy as sacred because I am that I am. I choose that with conviction. And I choose what is okay and what is not okay for this planet, and what I will be a part of positive change, for that is my part of being of service. That is my soul's growth. That's all I care about. And I'm okay with people letting go. I'm okay with me letting go of those that don't care. I'm okay with me letting go of sending them compassion and love anyways, because I love being who I am. All that matters is my soul growth. I am an evolved being of light, and I will go higher and I will go farther. That's my choice. It's my birthright. Take a deep breath. And ground, Ainama. The version of who you are within is different than when you got on, dear lighted ones. I can feel that in the center of your being. Do you choose with conviction to be new now? I choose with conviction to be new. Say it with power. I choose with conviction to be new. I choose with conviction to be new. I am that I am. Feel the light go down through the center of your body. And ground, and ground, and ground. That's the union of your higher self. It's very clear about who it is. Your higher self is very precise about who it is. I am love. That's how you know you're working within the vibration of your higher self. It has access to all that is God. And it's very clear about who it is. It's a powerful leader in who it is. It knows who it is within its health. I am so healthy, God, thank you. And ground. The breath is my life, dear lighted ones. Breath is my life. Breath is my life. I am new right now because breath is my life. The simplest things bring you genius. Can you be okay with that, dear lighted one? Have your children pay attention to their breath. It's a glorious thing. It will heal you in moments. It will bring you down to a very basic and calm presence. And it will align all of your creativity. Breath is new life. Rainbows of love throughout the multiverse. Rainbows of love. See yourself in a rainbow. See yourself within a rainbow, being encompassed in a rainbow of hugs. A rainbow of love going in. All colors of the rainbow. Breathe it through your body. Breathe it through your veins. Breathe it through your vessel. Breathe it through your chakras. Breathe it through. Breathe it through. You are a rainbow of light. You are a rainbow of light. You are a rainbow of light. You are one. You are one. You are harmonized as one. Call in your soul fragments. You are a rainbow. And ground rainbow with you. Breathe in. You are now a harmonized being, and you are now harmonized with your higher self, dear lighted ones. How do you feel? Pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to how you feel. Love yourself. I love myself and how I feel right now. I feel so glorious. I feel differently now than I did a few minutes ago, a second ago, 3 hours ago. That's how profound God is. I'm different now. My cells are different. Your cells need to hear your voice, dear lighted ones. Speak to yourself aloud as often as you can. Speak with conviction that your body is healed. My body is healed. I am love. My cells are healed. I am love. My cells are light. My cells are happy. My cells are joyful. I am unified as a godly being of one. My inner, my outer, above and below. I am one. I am one. I am the synthesis of love. I am one. I am one. Your words hold value. Your words hold value. Who are you? Who are you? And ground. 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 You are different now. You are expansive now. A powerful vessel is one that is grounded and in harmonization of its unity. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones? You need take nothing from nobody. That is not powerful when you take things from others. That is sitting in your weakness and your wounding. You need to take nothing from none. God will supply you with the abundance and the health that you need. All is within you. We have just showed you this. Transmute the disease. You are eternal. Everything you need is within you. We have just showed you this. That's what we're teaching you and offering you, dear lighted ones, if you so desire. It's always your free will. We offer that to you because that is God. Thank you. Thank you, dear lighted ones. This has been amazing. Thank you. Our links are below, dear lighted ones, if you would like a session. Donation would be very grateful. Thank you. We have a class that's coming up the next week, if you so wish, to join us in that class. The amount is $33 US. I'm available for healings and for vocational alignment sessions. I'm available for creative consulting, for businesses, for corporations, for leaders that wish to be a better leader, for those that wish to align with your sacred soul family, for your Pleiadians, your celestials, your aliens, whatever programs, whatever agendas that you are working with within the celestial councils and the systems of light. This is who I am as a conduit, as a messenger, as the very beautiful daughter of God. This is my service to all, and to all a very good night. I wish you namaste, dear lighted ones. We thank you so very much. We speak through this vessel at this time. We are sending great will to all of you, and we will be with you in your dreams. We will be with you in your waking times. Just call upon us, the archangels. Call upon us, the Pleiadians. Call upon us, the Andromedans. Call upon us, your celestial families. We are one in all. That is the story of this beautiful, beautiful experiment, is the beautiful journey of oneness. For we are one, we are just different forms, different capacities of learning, different capacities of integration. So be okay with where you're at. It's perfect. Everything is always perfect. Love yourself more and more every day, for you will love others the same value. As within, so without, as above, and so below. We are signing off, dear lighted ones, and namaste. Thank you, dear lighted ones. That was fun. We send you goodwill. Namaste. The link is below if you'd like a session. Bye. Rainbow hugs and tickles.